A very good evening to all the esteemed guests and panelists and speakers who are coming here for this workshop. I kindly request the people who are sitting at here to please join us here so that we can have a symmetry and we can also have some audiences there. So I will request to please join us here if it is convenient for you. As very little audience we can see here and will start the program as on time and let's more people will join between the program, so those who have on time so will not to punish them on because of those who are coming late, so we'll start the today program. So again, a very good evening to all and a warm welcome to each of you today in this panel discussion workshops on sustainability and energy efficiency of industrial and energy intensive consumers through energy service contracts. On behalf of LME, LUB and AEEE, I heartily welcome to all of you here. We are gathered here to discuss and share insights on how industries, SMEs, hospitals, malls, and other energy intensive sectors can significantly enhance their energy efficiency and contribute toward a sustainable future. As we gathered here, and the objective of today's workshop is to provide the practical insights on how SMEs and major energy consumers can achieve sustainable energy savings and improve their financial performance through the energy performance control. In this will contribute towards our national sustainability and climate change mitigation goal. So we have some ESCOs also here they will present the live case studies of the successful projects that they have resulted in significant energy savings. Before we start the inaugural session, I will invite our inaugural panelist speakers today to join on the dais. I would like first invite Mr. Shri A.K. Mathur, Senior Vice President, Lucknow Management Association, to please join us. Now, second, I will invite Dr. Satish Kumar, President and Executive Director, AEEE. So I request you to please join. Okay. Shri Abhishek Kumar Yadav, Senior Sector Experts, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEEE. Please, sir, welcome and join us. Shri Rajiv Kumar, General Manager, SIDBI. I know we are very few people, but we should clap for the list. Shri Jitendra Singh, AGM, Bank of Baroda. Request you to please join us on the stage. Before we begin with our inaugural session, I would like to extend a special welcome to all the dignitaries who are sitting on the dais, and we welcome you all to very warm-heartedly to all the esteemed panelists and the ESCOs who are present here in today's workshop. So first, I will invite Mr. A.K. Mathur, sir, to present a bouquet with as a traditional of our program. So present a bouquet to Mr. Sir, Satish, sir. Next, I invite Rajiv Pradhan, sir, Treasurer of Lucknow Management Association, to present the Shri Abhishek Kumar Yadav, Senior Expert, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. I will invite Dr. Colonel Samir Mishra, Executive Director of Lucknow Management Association, to present flower to Mr. Rajiv Kumar, GM, SIDBI, sir. I will invite trainer also. So now, not without further delay, I would like to invite A.K. Mathur sir for welcome the today address and today's session for this program.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this event of Lucknow Management Association. You see, it is customary that before we start any meeting of Lucknow Management Association, we recite the vision and mission of LMA. And I would request you to take the trouble of standing for a minute and repeat with me. Our vision is a high-profile, vibrant body of professionals contributing to make UP as Uttam Pradesh. Our mission is we sensitize and catalyze individuals, institutions, and communities to actualize their potential. Thank you very much. Please sit down. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this workshop on sustainability and energy efficiency of industries and other large consumers through energy performance contracts. On behalf of Lucknow Management Association, AEEE, which is Alliance for Energy Efficiency Economy, and Udyog Bharti. This event brings together thought leaders, industry pioneers, and financial institutions to address one of the most critical challenges of our time, achieving sustainability and ensuring energy efficiency in large energy-intensive installations. We are honored by the presence of Mr. Rajiv Kumar, General Manager, SIDBI, Dr. Satish Kumar, President and Executive Director, Alliance for an Energy Efficient Economy, Mr. Abhishek Kumar Yadav, Senior Sector Expert, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, New Delhi, Mr. Jiten Singh, AGM, Bank of Baroda, Mr. Vishal Chandani, Project Head, MSME, UPCon, and Dr. Ashok Kumar, ESG Trainer, to be present amongst us. Additionally, we are joined by many energy service companies, which are called ESCOs, who will present case studies showcasing remarkable energy savings achieved through innovative performance, energy savings achieved through innovative energy performance contracts. I also thank representatives from SIDBI, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, who is the regional head, SIDBI, and the Assistant General Manager, Mr. Jiten Singh of Bank of Baroda, who will be sharing their schemes for supporting these vital projects. The importance of sustainability and energy efficiency cannot be overstated. For large energy-intensive consumers like industries, hospitals, municipalities, malls, and other large installations, Energy efficiency is not just an imperative to meet environmental goals of the country, but also a significant financial opportunity. By optimizing energy usage, these organizations can achieve substantial cost savings, contributing to their financial health while aligning with India's national energy goals. The workshop will discuss the importance of energy savings through energy performance contracts and also address practical challenges that energy-intensive consumers face in implementing such projects. I take this opportunity of raising a few critical questions. And before this August panel, how should an entrepreneur or a facility owner already stretched thin with daily operations proceed with an energy efficiency project? That is for you, Mr. Rajiv Kumar and Dr. Satish Kumar. Many lack the technical expertise or the bandwidth to implement such initiatives. Another key issue is the lack of standardized resources. Currently, there are no universally available model documents, such as tender specifications or technical guidance to guide consumers and initiating energy performance contracts. Now, Bureau of Energy Efficiency is the nodal apex agency, and probably we'll have some inputs in this matter from Mr. Abhishek Kumar Yadav. And of course, Dr. Satish Kumar also, who is a very distinguished energy professional of the country. Furthermore, there is often uncertainty around how the quantum of energy saved will be measured and verified. This raises an important question. How can consumers be assured of the results when entering into an energy service contract? Now, I'm quite aware that Dr. Satish Kumar is a specialist in the M&V, measurement and verification process. And I'm sure he will throw some light on this issue as well. Finally, we must explore whether there are individuals or agencies equipped to handhold consumers throughout this process. Can we establish mechanisms that simplify this journey for the facility owners, making energy efficiency projects more accessible and actionable? This is important because, as I said, that most large consumers don't have the bandwidth to engage themselves in any energy efficiency project. They have enough work to do in their own domain. So these questions highlight the importance of today's workshop, and I am confident that some answers will emerge from the insights shared by our esteemed speakers and panelists. Before I conclude, I want to emphasize again that sustainability and energy efficiency are no longer optional. They are indispensable for achieving national environment goals, enhancing energy security, and ensuring economic resilience. Large energy consumers have the responsibility and the opportunity to lead by example, demonstrating how operational efficiency and environmental stewardship can go hand in hand. With that, I wish you all a productive and engaging session. I am certain that this workshop will inspire actionable strategies and collaborations that will drive energy efficiency forward. With this, I welcome you once again to this workshop. Thank you. Renu, come.
Now, first I would like to invite Dr. Satish Kumar sir, Executive and President Director of AEEE, to give some insights of today's particular topic on the energy efficiency. So I will request you, sir, to please give.
Thank you, Renuji. Thank you, Arunji, for those welcome remarks and also for setting the context on why I think we have joined forces to organize this workshop. I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, I think, who have found time to come and participate in this workshop, especially to, I think, our distinguished speakers and dignitaries on the dais, Abhishek Yadav ji, Rajiv Kumar ji, Jitendra Singh ji, Vishal Chandani ji. What I am going to do is that I have a few slides. I'll try to probably run through them, but most of the people, I think, are already aware of that, but just for refreshing the memories, I think, of the folks, because we are here to talk about ESCOs. We are here to talk about energy performance contracts or energy savings performance contracts. And these are topics that are not new. I think in India, I think we have been talking about these topics for close to 25 to 30 years. I started my journey in the US when I was helping develop the International Performance Measurement and Verification Protocol at the US Department of Energy. And then we were running one of the largest ESCO programs, which is the Federal Energy Management Program, which was running into billions of dollars and which was set up to improve the energy efficiency of the federal government, the US federal government. So what has changed and what has not changed over these last 25 to 30 years? So there are some good things, but there are a lot of things that, in my opinion, I think we need to re-look at, because the potential for ESCOs and energy performance contracts have not been fulfilled. I mean, and we should probably reflect a little bit that what is the reason why we have been talking about this for such a long time. But I think considering the market opportunity, the number of projects, I think the contracts, the energy savings, the whole decarbonization and net zero paradigm, how ESCOs can play a very, very important role, why that has not changed. So I think what I'll do, I'll quickly run through some of these things which are, oh, sorry, I think. Okay, so this is very quickly they can come from municipal sector, they can come from MSMEs, they can come from large industrial customer to help them save energy through a process. We will learn about those process, I think, in detail. But the key thing is that they are a professional firm. They employ engineers, they employ economists, they employ, I think, project managers to help, I think, the end customers deliver the energy savings by going through the process. They also provide savings guarantee. I think that's the second most important thing, because that's the business model that we are talking about, that they execute a project, but the premise is that the project is going to pay for itself through the savings that is going to get generated from the project. It could be a lighting project, it could be a process, I think, improvement project, it could be a cooling, I think, HVAC retrofit project, it could be a pumping project, there could be a whole range of technologies that could be done. But the important thing is that they are going to deliver savings, and they can pay for itself through that savings guarantee that they are providing. And the third thing is that ESCOs work with financial institutions. We have SIDBI and we have Bank of Baroda. They will be talking about the role that they play. So they provide the financing for these technologies to be installed. ESCOs come in as the technical experts. They help execute, implement the project, and then savings are generated through the life cycle, which could be 3 years, 5 years, maybe more, 7, 8 years. And I think that's how this thing is worked. So that, I think, in a nutshell, is what we are talking about. So there are, I think, about 135 ESCOs, which are sort of like certified by BEE. I'm sure Abhishek ji is going to talk a little bit about, I think, this whole certification process. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. But some of these ESCOs can do large projects, some of these ESCOs can do small projects, some of these ESCOs will only do municipal energy efficiency projects, some of them will only do buildings project. So they come in various shapes, sizes, with special expertise and other things. And I think they sometimes specialize in technology, so they can specialize in cooling and HVAC, they can specialize in pumping, they can specialize in energy management systems, they can specialize in boilers, there is a whole, I think, a gamut of, I think, technologies that they can specialize in. So that's, I think, this is very quickly. Now, coming to the energy performance contracting, which is, I think, as I think Mr. Mathur mentioned, is, I think, what we are going to be talking about. So again, this is sort of like an innovative financing model, which is, again, pays for these projects through this upfront investment, which is recovered over a period of time through the savings that are getting generated and which are guaranteed. I think, so performance guarantees for, I think, energy performance is given by the ESCOs, but it doesn't mean that ESCOs have the entire responsibility. The end customers also have responsibility in terms of running the installed equipment as per the guidelines. They have to operate the facilities for the number of hours that they have committed to, and also make sure that they keep their end of bargain so that these savings are getting, I think, generated. And then the savings get split between through some mechanisms which could be designed and which could be agreed upon between the ESCOs as well as the end customers. And once the project is completed, the entire savings that the project is generating is for the end customer to benefit from. There are different terms like third-party financing, savings financing. There are other things that can be used. Okay. So this is a conceptual diagram just to orient people that before energy savings performance contract, this bar that you are seeing is the utility bill. During the energy savings performance contract, I think the energy savings contract, the utility bill is sort of there, but there is some amount of, I think, the execution and delivery of these projects that are happening. And after energy savings performance contracts are over, then that entire savings that is getting generated belongs to the end consumer. During the energy savings performance contractor, there is some formula that divides, I think, the savings between the ESCOs, between the client, and then of course the financial institutions which has funded the project, they need to be paid for, I think, that along with the investment or the financing cost that is there. So I think this is this. Okay. So key things, it's a contract. It's also embedded that it's a form of financing that is coming, I think, with the ESPCs. It permits the realization of projects for which I think capital money may not be available otherwise. So it's also a creative financing mechanism for making the projects happen, which would otherwise not would have happened, and ensures that the savings are, I think, generated and split. So there are shared savings model, there is guaranteed savings model. These are all different variations. Again, I'm not going into the whole detail. There are leasing model, equipment leasing model, which is also a variation of that. And then there is like BOO or boot, I think, build, I think, operate, own and transfer. So these are like various kind of like variations of these performance contracts that could be done. So this is, so I think what I would like to mention that what has changed and why we are again sort of thinking that this is actually a good idea. It needs to be revisited and it needs to be sort of given a push. And I think we have the Bureau of Energy Efficiency here, we have the financial institutions here, we have the technology providers here. Hopefully there are some end customers, I think, which could be hospitals, which could be hotels. We are organizing this in a hotel. This can become like a client itself in terms of reducing the cost of operations. There could be MSMEs, some of the MSMEs are here. I think they all are the key stakeholders which will make this ESCO, I think, ecosystem successful. Now, why are we saying that this is a good idea? We are all aware that many big companies are making commitments about their net zero goals, about ESG targets, about decarbonizing the economy. The country is making its commitment in, I think, in multilateral forums. How is that going to happen? Energy has to play a very, very significant role, and we have to ensure that the energy intensity of the nation, which is like how much kilowatt hour I think we are consuming for producing per unit of GDP. So that's one metric that is being tracked. How much grams of CO2 we are producing for per kilowatt hour that our electrical grid is producing. How much kg of CO2 is being produced for producing 1 ton of cement that we are producing. How much kg of CO2 we are using for a kilowatt hour that a hospital or a hotel is consuming. I think all of this are presenting an opportunity for the ESCOs, for the financial institutions, for the end customer to use this business model, which is a very, very unique business model, but for some reason, I think he has not, been able to fulfill its potential. So here are my 3 things that I would want to end up with, I think, this mini intervention. The first thing is that it's a partnership. I think I keep saying that unless we believe that ESCO or EPC, it's a partnership model, we are never going to be successful. I think everybody has a role that is defined for them, and I think they need to fulfill that role and honor that role. The second thing is, we need to do more projects. I think the proof of the pudding, I'm sure that there are technology providers who are going to come and talk about case studies and other things. Everybody wants to do projects. I think the cost of business development. We do energy audit. We have multiple meetings, dozens of meetings. It has happened to that extent that people have lost faith that there is so much of investment that is going into just meetings. But at the end of the day, contracts are not getting signed. They are not able to execute the project. So let us commit to do more projects. Okay? And the third thing is that let us also make financing and investments available. I know that I think SIDBI is going to come and talk about it. It's not that these funds are not available, but for some reason, the uptake of the funds and I think the scale at which these funds, maybe they need to be increased 10 times, I think in terms of what the business is happening. How do we ensure that I think that funds are available and it is available to the end customers, to the ESCOs, so that I think more projects can be signed. As far as AEEE is concerned, I'm of course representing AEEE. I will talk about, I think just maybe another 1 minute. AEEE has 3 goals. We have a goal that we want to work with all the stakeholders, with the government agencies, with the private sector, to ensure that 100 gigawatt of demand offset can be created through energy efficiency. Now, that's through energy efficiency. So whether it's building energy code, whether it's standards and labeling, whether it's ESCO project, whether it's demand side intervention, 100 gigawatt of energy saving. If you look at 1 gigawatt, I think 1 gigawatt is about 7,000 to 8,000 crores we are talking about. Convert that into 100 gigawatt and you can see how much savings potential we can have if we can offset the requirement for, I think, power generation through the energy saving. Second is we are talking about 100,000, 1 lakh crores of investment that need to flow into energy efficiency. I think what we see is a disconnect between the investment that is happening in renewable energy and what is happening in energy efficiency. I think that needs to change because when we are driving a car, when we are using an appliance, when we are living in an office or working in home, energy efficiency is something that we feel all the time. Renewable energy is happening, it's very, very important, but why are we not investing more in energy efficiency? So I think that's the second thing. And third is that we want to help create 5 lakh jobs in energy efficiency, and ESCOs are a very, very important tool for making that happen. So these are the 3 goals that AEEE is working towards. We are also trying to create like a platform where energy service company projects can actually be put on, and it will become like a matchmaking for technology providers, for end customers, for financial institutions, for ESCOs, I think for different segments. And I think that's a neutral platform. We don't have any agenda except for that we want more and more projects to happen, and we want the ESCO industry to fulfill its potential. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Satish Kumar. Very enlightening thoughts. And of course, he has repeated most of the things which the government wants. And certainly, the people here are just not, as I said, it's not just an optional issue. You have to, in your own interest, forget about the nation's interest. In your own interest, you have to. So what I'll do, I would request you to write down the specific questions which you have in mind. What is ESCO? How the performance contract is executed? What are the financing options and all those things? And we'll spend some time before we start the actual presentation of case studies to take up those questions by this panel. But it is worthwhile, and I would request you to please keep noting down the questions which come to your mind. Because this is all, I understand this is all new for you. You have not been exposed to these concepts, and it would be a good idea, sir, if you permit, we can take a few questions after this session. So it's not just a lecture delivering, but it can be interactive also. Thank you very much, and I would now request Mr. Abhishek Kumar Yadav, and I would request Mr. Yadav to respond to some of the questions which I had raised.
Good evening to all of you. It is an immense privilege and honor for me to stand before such an esteemed gathering at this workshop on sustainability and energy efficiency of industrial and commercial consumers through the energy performance contract. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Lucknow Management Association, Laghu Udyog Bharti, and Alliance for Energy Efficient Economy for organizing this insightful workshop and inviting Bureau of Energy Efficiency to deliver this special address. Before I proceed, so I would like to take some moment to recognize the distinguished personality present on the dais. Sri A.K. Mathur, Vice President, Lucknow Management Association, Dr. Satish Kumar, President and Executive Director, AEEE, Sri Rajiv Kumar, General Manager, SIDBI, Sri Jitendra Singh, AGM, Bank of Baroda, Mr. Vishal Chandani, President Head, MSME, Dr. Kumar, Ashok Kumar, ESG Trainer, and Sri Keshav Mathur, Vice President, Laghu Udyog Bharti. Sir, your presence here underscores the importance of this workshop and its role in shaping a more sustainable and energy efficient future for industrial and commercial consumers. So, sir, as I would say, as we gather here today, we stand at a critical junction in our journey towards achieving India's energy efficiency and sustainable goals. This workshop brings together the policymakers, owners of SME, industries, hospitals, large government and commercial buildings, malls, and other significant energy consumers. The objective of the program is to provide practical insight into how these entities can achieve such substantial energy savings and enhance financial performance through energy performance contract, while contributing to national sustainability and climate change mitigation. Undertaken several initiatives to create an enabling environment for its adoption. One of our flagship efforts in this regard has been the implementation of ESCO pilot project across various sectors. These projects aim to demonstrate the viability and scalability of the ESCO model by showcasing tangible benefits, including reduced energy consumption, lower operational cost, and enhanced environmental performance. Through these initiatives, we aim to build trust among stakeholders and establish a robust framework for the widespread adoption of energy performance contract. I am pleased to share that Bureau has already initiated the investment grade energy audit and has conducted this IGEA among 184 government buildings to establish the techno-economic feasibility of implementing energy efficiency measures. As a result, model ESCO guidelines and measurement and verification protocols has already been initiated by the Bureau, and a customized ESCO-based tender has already been floated by the NTPC for their EOC office, Noida. Similar tenders document has also been initiated by other government PSUs like Power Grid, NTPC, SJVN, Northern Coalfield. Out of 184 government buildings where IGA has been conducted, 74 buildings under the administrative control of defense PSUs are implementing energy efficiency measures on their own capital. Another 62 buildings have already implemented their energy efficiency measures as recommended in the IGEA. The remaining 48 buildings under the administrative PSUs like NTPC, Power Grid, Coal India, SJVN, DDA, etc. are in the process of floating ESCO-based tenders for doing IGA and implementing energy efficiency projects. So these are the developments highlights. Be proactive efforts in promoting ESCO model and driving the implementation of energy efficiency measures through the pilot projects. By showcasing the potential of these initiatives, we aim to create a triple effect that encourage wider adoption of energy efficiency practices. The key to the success of these initiatives lie in fostering a strong partnership among stakeholders, including government, industry associations, and financial institutions. The workshops like this serve as a vital platform for the knowledge exchange, capacity buildings, and networking. These enable us to collectively address barriers and identify opportunity for scaling up the energy efficiency interventions. The industrial and commercial sector, along with SME, hospitals, and malls, play a pivotal roles in driving India's economy growth. However, these are also significant energy consumers contributing sustainability to GHG mitigation emission. By embracing energy efficient practices and technology, these sectors can not only reduce their carbon footprint, but also achieve significant cost savings and enhance their competitiveness in the global market. As we deliberate the opportunity and challenges associated with energy performance contract, I urge all the stakeholders present here to actively participate in shaping a roadmap for scaling up the energy efficiency interventions in UP and beyond. Let us leverage the collective expertise and experience of this gathering to drive meaningful actions and create a sustainable future for the generation to come. In conclusion, I would like to once again thank the organizer for providing this platform and for their unwavering commitment to promoting sustainability and energy efficiency. I am confident that the discussions and insights shared during this workshop will pave the way of innovations, innovative solutions, and impactful collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abhishek Kumar. Now, we have Mr. Rajiv Kumar, General Manager, SIDBI. He has been associated with the environmental program of SIDBI and energy efficiency for a long time, and we look forward to very useful inputs from him.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, my sincere thanks to LMA for organizing this very relevant topic. And as Dr. Satish said, this topic remains to be relevant for the last so many years, 25, 30 years. So this is an area wherein I've spent a lot of time around. I've been working for around 13 years in this area. SIDBI opened Energy Efficiency Center in 2010. SIDBI realized the importance of energy efficiency in MSMEs at that point of time, and a dedicated energy efficiency center was set up. And then we started working on different models to basically to focus on energy efficiency in MSMEs. We did some pilots with energy audits in various clusters. I think we conducted more than 2,500 energy audits in around 20 clusters. And the idea was to basically showcase them, give them an DPR which we called IGDPR, investment grade DPR, so that these people can implement those measures. But somehow the implementation was quite low. Then we realized that we should have a financing program also along with the technical support. So only technical handholding support will not work for MSME. So we then organized financing also, and we called that end-to-end financing scheme. We use acronym 4E financing scheme. And we started with a small corpus of rupees 120 crore, which was created on the strength of a World Bank grant. We were executing a project of World Bank and some grant was remaining, around 5 million or so. So we mixed that 5 million grant with SIDBI general funds and we started lending at, concessional rates under that financing scheme. Now, from that 100 crore, the present corpus under that scheme is 9,000 crore. So when demand is there, times are changing, but obviously for a country like India, even 9,000 crore is a small amount of money. So I would say, yes, gradually people are realizing sensitization is happening. And now coming to ESCO, then we graduated to another, we talked to World Bank that we would like to do this ESCO model because generally in ESCOs, financing is a challenge because ESCO, they implement the project at a third party location where banker does not have any charge or any site or the assets. So generally, ESCOs do not get financing. So with the support of World Bank, we started a facility called Partial Risk Sharing Facility, wherein the corpus of USD 37 million really big. So, and again, 37 million is peanuts for a country like India. And within a period of around 5 years, we could utilize that corpus 4 times. We could support projects worth USD 130 million US dollar. So for a country like India, it's not a big success story, but somehow World Bank felt it's a big success story, and they have taken this concept to 8 other countries in the world. They are replicating the same model, the PRSF model in various other countries. Now we are then talking to World Bank to enhance the corpus. They have agreed to increase it to 50 million more. So now the corpus will be coming 87 million US dollar. And maybe the initial conditionalities were quite stringent in terms of the definition of ESCO, in terms of what can be covered and other things. So those also now World Bank is willing to relax, and hopefully this enhanced RSF will be launched very quickly in another 3 to 6 months at the most. So I think there have been many ESCOs who have been able to demonstrate that this can be done very successfully. And I think they are here, they will be telling in their case studies, those success stories. I think organizing this kind of programs so that these success stories, these case studies are disseminated more and more. The one biggest challenge in MSME sector is to reach out to the last mile. That is the biggest challenge. So maybe these kind of programs, these kind of sharing of learnings, case studies would be quite useful. From SIDBI side, I think financing is not an issue. Like risk sharing facility, we are guaranteeing those loans. Besides, we are also providing technical support in evaluating those projects. So that's why that gave State Bank of India, Yes Bank, HDFC Bank, other banks, lot of comfort. They financed good number of ESCO projects. So that we continue to provide. Parallelly, we also provide loans to MSMEs who either implement project through ESCO mode or work as ESCOs. Because majority of the ESCOs are MSME, they fall under the definition of MSME, leaving aside NTPC and the bigger players. So majority of them are ESCOs. Those are there, and for MSMEs, for financing, SIDBI is again providing concessionality in the rate of interest. We are offering the projects which have energy efficiency to the tune of minimum 25%. We are reducing the rate by 25 basis points for those kind of projects. So that is benefits SIDBI provides for. Besides that, government is also now promoting a lot more the energy efficiency. There is a Ministry of MSME, Government of India scheme, MSE Gift Scheme, and MSE Spice Scheme. Under MSE Gift Scheme, 2% interest subvention is being provided. If the bank is charging 9%, effective rate to the MSME is 7% only. Similarly, SPICE scheme is there for circular economy project. Their capital subsidy of 25% subject to a maximum of rupees 12.5 lakh is being provided. I think Bureau of Bureau of Energy Efficiency is also working on an Aditi scheme wherein they are planning to provide around 4% interest subvention for energy efficiency project. So I think there is many incentive for the MSMEs, for the consumers to become more energy efficient and move towards net zero goals. And as Madhur Sahab and Satish ji has also said, now this is not optional. We have to become energy efficient if we have to survive. Because now survival is linked to, how efficient we are. We can do the same work in what lower costs. How efficiently we can do that. And that's why energy efficiency is one of the major tool which is available to all of us. So with that, I'll stop here. I will again thank the organizers and also, those friends who have come long way to tell us about their projects which they are doing, about the case studies with regard to the ESCOs. So thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajiv Kumar. Now we have another presentation by Shri Jiten Singh, Assistant General Manager, Bank of Baroda, on financing these projects.
Good evening to all. I am Jiten Kumar Singh, AGM from Bank of Baroda. And fellow stakeholders. I would like to extend my gratitude to our all speakers, panelists, and participants for their contribution to this workshop. Your expertise, experience, and perspectives will be invaluable to this conversation. Obviously, without participation of all present here, nothing is going to be fruitful. So certainly we should be interactive. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the support of Lucknow Management Association that have made this workshop possible. I am honored to welcome you to this workshop on sustainability and energy efficiency of industrial and commercial consumer through energy performance contracts. Today, we gather to discuss a critical aspects of our collective futures, the sustainable use of energy. As we all know, the industrial and commercial sectors are significantly contributor to the energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions. However, they also hold tremendous potential for energy efficiency and sustainability. We will hear from all the expert and participant, जो भी होंगे यहाँ पे discuss करेंगे. In last objective of the workshop or agenda, to raise awareness about the importance of energy efficiency and sustainability in industrial and commercial sectors, to share knowledge and best practices on EPC as a mechanism for achieving energy efficiency and sustainability, to facilitate collaboration and networking among stakeholders to promote the adoption of EPC, energy performance contract, and sustainability energy practices. As I have been given task to tell about all about the financing. Actually, I am coming from the banks. Little bit, I will focus on the financing segment. As far as direct financing to the industries or any person who engages in the manufacturing activity, we are financing all these things. But as far as ESCOs are concerned, I am not fully aware. Actually, I have no cases in my zone where we extend our financing. But after hearing from all the experts, certainly I will convey my message to the higher authority and to the bank so that a specific scheme should be formulated. That should be where we can hassle-free financing can be done. That I will convey. But for the all industries, I have a special product. Based on their consumption, we analyze their need and accordingly we finance. Only 10% margin is required. A rate of interest which is ranging from 8.5 to 9.15%. Based on that interest, after getting that finance, and that will be added in your profit and loss. In a calculation mode, I will tell, but after hearing from the all experts about this scheme, certainly I will comment. Thank you to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jiten Singh. Now, it's quite clear that the concept of ESCO needs to percolate to the financial institutions as much as the consumers. And some financing models need to be developed. And I'm sure SIDBI can take a lead in that to create greater awareness, not only amongst the industry, but amongst the financial institutions as well. Now we have a presentation by UPICON, UPCON. They have been nominated by the Managing Director, UPSIC, which is the nodal agency for the RAMP program for MSMEs. And I would request Mr. Vishal Chandani and Dr. Ashok Kumar to make this presentation. Thank you. I would request you to kindly take as much time, as little time as possible, because we can, so that we can have the ESCO presentations.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, LMA. Thank you, Laghu Udyog Bharati. And thank you, AEEE, for inviting us to put our point in this workshop. As Sir said, we are the implementing agency. Basically, we conduct workshops regarding the awareness of ESG parameters. E stands for environmental, S social, and G governance. We promote ESG parameters in the entire Uttar Pradesh, and we have been nominated by UPSIC, UP Small Industries Corporation. Sir, as far as the ESG principles are concerned, these are world-renowned principles and have been acknowledged in India as well. As we all know that some AMCs, asset management companies, have got specialized mutual funds which invest only in the ESG related corporates. Apart from this, latest report on business standard dated 30th December, we got to know that around 60% of the Nifty 50 companies are already on the ESG path. They're giving importance to ESG as well. And to the esteemed audience, I would like to share one point that recently we were having an awareness workshop at Ghaziabad on 8th of January. And I can proudly say that that hotel, the Hotel Fortune, that's an ITC Group hotel, they've got their own ESG initiatives under which they have got the urinals where very less or negligible water is being used. And this we have seen in with the McDonald's as well, but that's a multinational. But now even the Indian companies are on the track of ESG. So put some more light on these principles and how can the MSMEs benefit from this. I would like to invite Dr. Ashok Kumar to present more about the ESG principles. Dr. Ashok Kumar is a PhD from BHU and has got an extensive experience of more than 42 years of training on relevant topics. Please, sir.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, the organizers, and thank you all of my friends came here and attending the workshop here, which is very beneficial for all of you. And thanks to my respected A.K. Mathurji, Dr. Satish Kumar ji, Mr. Rajiv Kumar sir, Abhishek Kumar Yadav sir, Jiten Kumar sir, for coming here. Welcome to all of you and good evening to also to all of you. Today I am going to present about the workshop on awareness and strengthening environmental social governance, ESG. As my friend told, Mr. Vishal told that E is referred for the environmental, S referred for the social, and G referred for the governance. So these three pillars of the ESG are very important for the industries if we control all the harmful effect of these inside the industry. That is very, very important. Now in the global, it is the ESG certification and JET certification also. JET certification, today we will not discuss about the JET certification, but these are very important for the development of the year, and I have published so many publications in the international journals. So just I am starting about the environmental part of the ESG. The environmental criteria are part of the ESG, evaluates how a company impacts and manages environmental issues like climate change. As you know, now climate is changing too much. You might be seeing that the rainy season and winter season both are changing. Maybe months are changing now. So resource usage, resources like water and other resources, pollution, different type of pollution, and biodiversity, nature and this human being and plants, both are now incorporated in the biodiversity. So both are now damaging due to the environmental impact. So next, social aspect is very important for the industries because we see here how a company manages relationship with its stakeholders, customer, supplier, and employees, communities, and other stakeholders. So this is now very important. I will discuss later on. Next, governance. Governance part of the ESG focus on how a company is managed, its leadership, internal control, and shareholder rights. How the company is managing all the दूर मैं हो जाता हूँ. Okay, sorry. You take it.
और सामने स्क्रीन लगी हुई है, वहाँ से आप देख सकते हो.
अच्छा, okay. So, in this criteria governance, we see how a company is managed, its leadership, internal control, and shareholder rights. Next. So what is the strategy of the ESG? There are these three points, important point, to demonstrate a company commitment to sustainable and responsible practices. Sustainable means the stability, टिकाऊपन, and responsible practices to enhance reputation among investors. ESG, because of the ESG, the investor interest is just too much for the industry, customer and stakeholders also. they are taking more interest if any company is having the ESG parameters. The third, to comply with the regulations or industry-specific requirement, rules and regulations. It includes the rules and regulation. Under the ESG, we are following the rules and regulations properly. Next. Why ESG matters in business today? There are so many important points, the reasons why ESG matters today. Number one, ESG attract investors' demand for sustainable investment. Investors always happy if ESG is there. They prefer to invest in the industries where ESG is following. ESG maintain regulatory compliance and risk mitigation. Regulatory rules and ESG companies are following the rules and regulations properly, and reducing the risk. Jokhim, they are reducing the risk. ESG maintain consumer preferences for ethical practices. Ethical practices means moral character. Moral practices. Number four, ESG keep impact employee engagement. Because of the ESG, the employees are very happy because under the ESG, the management behave very nicely with the employees, and they also consider their welfare. So the employees are very happy. So they intact the employee. Employee will not go far, will not give up the job because he is happy inside the industry. ESG makes long-term profitability. Long-term profitability also there if the industries are following the rules and regulations, then profit industry will get lot of profits there. And value creation, also value creation. ESG enhance reputation and brand value. Brand value and reputation of the industry also enhance because of the ESG parameters. ESG promotes innovation. Innovation means just do something new for the industry. If we can say R&D or research, then and also giving a lot of opportunities for the job. So ESG, because of the ESG, these benefits we will get. 5 minutes, okay. Okay, this is all the same thing. Time is less, so same importance of the ESG. These are risk management, attracting investment, enhancing brand reputation, regulatory compliance, attracting and retaining talent, operational efficiency and innovation, long-term profitability and sustainable growth, building reputation and trust, long-term benefit in all respect for all stakeholders. Now we are starting about the environmental criteria. ESG assess how a company impacts and interacts. This I have already told you. These are the factors which we have to assess: climate change and carbon emission, energy efficiency, resource management, pollution and waste management, biodiversity and habitat conservation, water management, environment compliance and transparency. I want to say only this: we have to, in the industries, we have to keep environment under the limit of the international standard. That is, we have to do under the ESG. we should not go beyond the standard of the international standard of the environment. These are the important things in the environmental part: carbon footprint and greenhouses gases. Greenhouses gases produce many gases: CO2, methane, nitrogen oxides, and sulfur dioxide also. These are the gases. Because of these gases, the temperature is going rise, global temperature is going rise, and so the glaciers are also melting and sea level also increasing. So we have to control under ESG program the emission of the carbon footprint and also the gases. What we have to do for reductions of these in energy efficiency? Today is the topic related to this energy efficiency, implementing energy efficient practices and operations using energy saving technologies. Now the upgradation of the technologies, there is a program TVS of the government. We have to upgrade the technology because most of the industry is having the old technology. So these boilers and all diesel, petrol are using there. So these emissions are coming out, and they produce environment. They change the environment. And now renewable energy is the new form of the energy, like solar, and now they are, most of the industries are adopting the renewable form of the energy, so that the energy efficiency is increased. Sustainable transportation. Transportation is using the diesel and petrol, so they are harmful for the environment. They are giving emission of these gases. Carbon offsetting, we have to block the carbon. We have participated in carbon programs such as we have to start the plantation and other things, so that the level of the oxygen is maintained there. And you know, CO2 is when increased more, the temperature will rise, and that is also harmful for the human being. And there should be a ratio of 0.04% CO2 and 21% oxygen in the atmosphere. And more than 0.04% is harmful for the human being, and less than 21% it is okay. Just greenhouse gas emission. Okay, this I think understandable. Time is not much. CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, I have already told about this.
Thank you.
Just 1 minute. So this is about the environmental part, and about the social part. Also pollution, water pollution, air pollution, these we have to control there. Just I will not take more time.
We'll circulate those.
Yeah. Social aspect of the ESG is very important. Employee well-being and rights. We have to do something for the properly for the employee, as well as the communities also. Like Tata is helping lot charity program. Tata Industries have started charity program. So we have to help also the communities also beside the employee. Diversity, equity, and in the management. Diversity, equity, and creating a workplace that values diversity and promote equally regardless of race. Race, gender, this should not be considered inside the company. Community engagement. We have to engage in the meetings as well as in the management, the community people, human rights, labor standard.
We'll come back to energy efficiency issues.
Okay, okay. That is not relevant for this topic, but as you have told about the, so I am describing about the ESG, yes. Okay. Customer relations protection also important in the industries. Health and safety also important in the industries. Stakeholder engagement also the important investors, investor, customer and employees. We have to engage there.
The whole subject in itself.
Board structure of the company also should be proper gender balance and diversity should be there. Leadership accountability, CEO and executive. If any leader, CEO is working very good, then they have to be rewarded for the as a form of the salary or for any prize.
Thank you very much.
This is a not relevant topic related to very few part of the topic like this energy.
Energy efficiency is only
Energy
one of the
efficiency
parts.
is only related.
So I think we'll
Yeah.
come back to energy efficiency.
But awareness also
Yeah,
are important.
yeah, that is true. That is true.
For
We
them,
can have a,
because they are the entrepreneur.
we can have
So
a
that is
separate,
also very important to know about ESG also.
no, that's true.
Sorry, sir.
Uh,
Thank you, sir.
We'll have a separate session on that. And now we'll come back to energy performance contracts and role of ESCOs and facilitator. Now these are the issues which I mentioned earlier, and I hope we'll have some answers. Mr. Vipin Rohila, he's the team leader for AEEE, and he will speak on this subject.
Invite Miss Nisha Menon. I think she is catch to flight also. CEO of Development Environment Energy Services DESL. So,
So what I'll do, I'll invite all the speakers on the dais in this technical session, Mr. Vipin Rohila and Mr. Amlan Panda and Mr. Aryan Singh, Mukesh Kumar, Nisha Menon is on, anyway, and Dharmesh Khandelwal. So all of you can come on the
I
stage.
will request all the technical panelists to please join us on the dais. Today we'll present the live case studies of the successful projects. So first I would like to invite Ms. Nisha Menon, CEO of DESL. Will it be fine? Pritya? Because I think that's fine. Okay, fine. So you need. Okay, so we'll. Okay, fine.
Thank you all. My name is Vipin Rohila. I'm working with the AEEE under the leadership of Dr. Satish Kumar. I'm having a 17 years of work experience. I work with National Productivity Council. I also have 3 years of work experience working in Saudi Arabia. Now currently I'm with AEEE. So can you put my presentation? So I'll start with an fact why ESCO is very important. In my experience, what I have observed. Okay, English is fine or English Hindi mixed, like whatever. Mixed is fine. Okay. So sometimes when we visit the industries, so they used to say, sir, we can't do the implementation. Paisa nahi hai hamare paas. Specifically MSMEs, they are really struggling. So sometimes, like there are a lot of cash-rich companies are also there, MSMEs. They are able to go for the implementation, energy efficiency measures in terms of the technology implementation. So they are aware of like there are the options are available of technology, they can afford it. But there are a lot of many MSMEs are there, which I observed their struggle to have the finance. So ESCO, is a model which support your that whole system where you can have the finance and you not need to have the upfront capital. So here it's ESCO model is very important, and what I try to give you an idea इसमें facilitator का क्या काम है. जैसे एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेना चाहूँगा, जब रिश्ते होते हैं तो बीच में एक मीडिएटर काम करता है मैच मेकिंग टाइप का. तो इसी तरह से व्हाट वी फील देयर इज अ लैक ऑफ फैसिलिटेटर इन द एंटायर बिजनेस ऑफ दिस एस्को मॉडल. बीच में एक मीडिएटर कोई कहीं मिसिंग एक लिंक है. हमें जैसे राजीव सर ने और सर फ्रॉम बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा दे टोल्ड कि हमारी एक स्कीम है. टेक्नोलॉजी सप्लायर बोलता है हमारी एक टेक्नोलॉजी है, ठीक है. एस्को बोलता है हम एस्को करते हैं, ठीक है. और क्लाइंट बोलता है यार मैं कहाँ जाऊँ. तो बीच में उन सबको कनेक्ट करने के लिए वी हैव अ मैच मेकिंग activity done by a facilitator in this whole system. Either I go directly to the financing institutions, either I as a technology supplier I visit each and every MSMEs. That is not impossible for everyone. Like recently I was working in UP and Maharashtra. I feel like people want to adapt this energy efficient technology, but they are not clear how to go ahead, how to मतलब कैसे और कहाँ से हम start करें. There the importance comes for the facilitator. So what facilitator will do, they will bring in all the 4 key stakeholder: client, it could be a building owner, it could be a MSME, any kind of facility which want to adopt the energy efficient technology. The second one, the ESCOs. Like in Satish sir presentation, we have seen there 135 empaneled ESCOs are there with Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Are they really getting the good business? So what is the reason behind that? Why ESCO business is not getting boomed up in India? Like the same business is running tremendously. There lot of businesses running in Gulf region, European region and the US region. Why it is not booming up? So there is a need. So the ESCOs will have the advantage, they will be facilitated, get connected with the, the clients whom they really wish to go for the implementation. Now comes with the financing institutions. There are a lot of financing institutions, like we have Bank of Baroda should be here. There are very good, schemes are running, but actually, people sometimes face, sir, we are try to avoid this tedious process and all, but sometimes it's not a tedious process. That is something they are missing. They need someone who can facilitate them through all this process. Now the technology suppliers, we have heard of new technologies are coming up in India, that's help you support the decarbonization motives. But yes, they're also they have to go for each and every units, the association, the
But
state.
who are the facilitators, sir? That
Sir,
is
I'm coming to that point, sir. So I'm setting the context. So picture abhi baki hai. So moving forward to this, with this, the technology supplier, they also struggles, for the business. Next. So here comes, I'll be explain who could be the facilitator and how the facilitator works. So this is the process in the ESCO model. So it start with phase 1, like month 1, there is a need of the client identification. So facilitator, maybe it could be any agency who could, have understanding of the business, say in the state of UP itself, and they can approach any ministry or department. Okay, this building can be supported through an ESCO model. That support will be provided by the facilitator. Now this would be a month 1 exercise. Moving forward with the subsequent in the phase 2, once this building has been identified, it start with the RFP processes. Like the gentleman from Bureau of Energy Efficiency mentioned about the NTPC case, they got their IGA done, and then NTPC launched the tender, basically the RFP for the ESCO model implementation. So we are into month 2, where in the RFP preparing process, the facilitator support him how this RFP can be created to support the ESCO business specifically. Once the RFP is being floated, assessment of the proposals and the selection of the ESCOs. So like we have 135 ESCOs, here facilitator will provide a services that will support in finalizing the ESCO who will start, go for the IGA for that specific premises. So until now we have identified the premises, we have floated the RFP, we have finalized the ESCOs. So here, out of the 4 pillars, 2 pillars are already covered, the client and the ESCOs. Now moving forward to the phase 3, once the select ESCO will carry out the IGA investment grade energy audit, which we have heard Bureau of Energy Efficiency has done it for almost 184 buildings across India in the PSUs. So moving forward, in that once IGA is done, the facilitator will support in evaluating this IGA report, the submission from the ESCOs, whether these energy conservation measures given in the report are like actually implementable or not. That will support, the facilitator will support the facility owners. हमें कौन सी ECMs को, एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन मेजर्स को अपनी बिल्डिंग में, अपनी फैक्ट्री में लगवाने से फ़ायदा होगा, या फिर बहुत सारी एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन मेजर्स ऐसी होती हैं जो कि बिना कुछ इन्वेस्ट किए भी आप सेविंग अचीव कर सकते हैं. तो उस चीज़ में भी एस्को को, फैसिलिटी ओनर को ये फैसिलिटेटर सपोर्ट करेगा. अब जब ECM फाइनल हो जाएगा, हमारा जो सेविंग्स किस किस माध्यम से, किस किस टेक्नोलॉजी लगाने से हमारा सेविंग अचीव होगा, तो हम वहाँ पे उसकी बेसलाइनिंग करते हैं. बेसलाइनिंग मीन्स कि जैसे गवर्नमेंट ने बेसलाइनिंग की है कि 21 साल से ऊपर ही आदमी की शादी हो सकती है, ऐसी ही एक बेसलाइनिंग होती है कि इस नंबर्स के बाद जो भी बचेगा वो एलिजिबल होगा हमारा सेविंग्स के लिए. तो हमें हर ECMs मेजर्स पे, जैसे मान लीजिए आपका मोटर है, मोटर का आपने कंजम्पशन लिया कि अभी करंट सिनेरियो में हाउ माई मोटर इज रनिंग, कितना वो कंज्यूम कर रही है. दूसरा सिनेरियो अगर आप बिल्डिंग में देखें, जो हमारा HVAC सिस्टम है, या हमारा यही प्रीमाइसेस है, इट इज़ फेड थ्रू द चिलिंग सिस्टम. सो अभी करंट सिनेरियो में हाउ मच इट इज़ कंज्यूमिंग. फैक्ट्री में फर्नेस है, how much the furnace fuel is being consumed in a furnace for a certain period of time. So that will, when you finalize the energy saving measures, you fix the baselining कि आज की डेट में मेरा वो particular equipment कितना बिजली खा रहा है या कोयला खा रहा है, फ्यूल खा रहा है basically. Once we finalize the baseline, we build a M&V plan in the process. M&V plan is called as measurement and verification plan. That M&V plan help you fix the number in terms of कि इतना saving आएगा ही आएगा. That M&V plan will bound the ESCO to support the facility owner in achieving those savings. If that savings not being achieved, then as per the ESPC contract, which Dr. Satish has mentioned in his presentation, will be legally bound to penalize the ESCO. So moving forward, once this M&V plan is freezed, we do the energy saving performance contract. It's a contract basically where it is a signing of contract between ESCO and the facility owner, where the ESCO commit facility owner ki in the coming year you will be achieving say 15%, 20% or 30% of saving in your existing scenarios. So once this ESPC contract is a legal document and that bind both the parties, the facility owner also as well as the ESCOs. So facility owner के लिए बाउंडेशन क्यों है? Because facility owner अपने premises में कोई changes कर दे और ESCO को पता न लगे, तो उससे क्या होगा, आपका consumption pattern current scenario में change हो जाएगा. जब हमने baselining किया था कि भाई अभी के scenario में मेरा कितना consumption चल रहा है, तो उस scenario में आप notice करेंगे कि उसके बाद फैसिलिटी ओनर ने कुछ एक्स्ट्रा फर्नेस लगा दिया या एक्स्ट्रा विंडो एसी, स्प्लिट एसी लगा दिए, फैंस लगा दिया, लाइटिंग लगा दी, जिससे कि मेरा कंजम्पशन बढ़ गया. लेकिन मैंने अपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में ये बोला था कि सेविंग्स होगी, लेकिन उसमें ये भी लिखा था सेविंग्स तभी होगी जब आप वो चीज़ मेंटेन करके रखेंगे. तो इसलिए यहाँ पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बाउंडेशन फैसिलिटी ओनर के लिए भी आता है, एस्को के लिए भी आता है। ऐसा नहीं कि एस्को की लाइबिलिटी हो जाएगी पूरी। सो इट विल बी लाइबिलिटी फॉर ऑल द स्टेक होल्डर्स। नाउ moving forward, we will finalize the ESPC contract and the signing is there. So this here we complete signing of ESPC completes the third phase of the process. So we talk about the phase one. In month one, we facilitate the client identification and high potential client where the decarbonization opportunity is higher side. Usually what we see, if saving percentage is more than 15%, consider as a reasonable project for the ESCO model, under the ESCO model. Next. So phase two we have discussed. We facilitate in preparing the entire RFP process and finalizing of the ESCO. And in the phase three, next, we review the investment grade energy audit report, final the M&B plan, and facilitate the ESCO in engaged with the relevant technology supplier. Market, like those who are the facility owner here, they understand there are a lot of different vendors are there in the tech, who supplies a similar kind of technology. But we like as a facilitator, it will be responsibility of to identify the vendor who supply technology that have a long lasting life also, and the performance is really good in terms of like there should be by proper justification through a case study or their past performance. So moving forward to that, we finalize the ECMs, we finalize the contract. Here comes the another angle of the insurance, energy efficiency insurance. So next. Okay, so what energy efficiency insurance is, they will support, we all have different kind of insurance, like car insurance, term insurance kind of, some insurance, that means something is being guaranteed by that insurance. So same way, in this ESCO model process, there is a, concept, insurance support for this ESCO model, where in case of there is a, lack of savings achieved, or lack of technology failure is there, or in terms of there is a gaps from the facility owner perspective. So there is a instrument called insurance that will be separately be taken care by the separate agency in these presentations. So in the phase 4, we have finalized the contract. Now in the phase 4, we will go for the implementation of the technologies. So we suppose, for an example, we have finalized the replacement of 4 different instruments that can include lighting, fans, AC, to generalized example, and the installation will take place in the period of 6 months. So usually the ESCO model process from identification of the building and until the installation, it will a 12 months process in the ideal conditions. So in these 6 months, you will go for the installations and commissioning of all the new equipment. Once all this installation is being done, there should be an acceptance and project completion signing between the ESCOs and the facility owner, like this much installation is being done. These are the equipment, make, and date of installation, and from there, once everything is done, we prepare a post-implementation M&V plan, and post-implementation M&V plan give a reflection of the new equipment installed in your premises. So that will, give you an idea in my premises what was the baseline, and in the current scenario, these are the new installation. So moving forward in the last phase, after all the installation is done, we move into the performance period. So in the performance period, we check how these ECMs, say 3 or 4 ECMs performing. So it's an annual process. So once everything, installation, commissioning, everything is done, the equipment starts performing. We evaluate them in the end for the year. We keep monitoring them in monthly basis or fortnightly basis or annual basis also. एक्चुअल में मैंने एनर्जी सेविंग मेजर्स मैंने लगाए हैं अपने फैसिलिटीज़ में, वो किस तरह से परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, उस परफॉर्मेंस को रिकॉर्ड करने और उसको रिफ्लेक्ट करने को प्रोसेस को हम एनुअल M&V प्लान बोलते हैं, उस M&V प्लान में हम ये सारी चीज़ों को रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं कि पहले क्या था और आज के सिनेरियो में हमने कितनी सेविंग्स अचीव की। अब आप एनुअल M&V प्लान में एक नंबर आएगा, सेविंग्स का एक परसेंटेज आएगा, दैट यू मैच विद योर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यू हैव साइंड ESPC contract. If they are meeting the target, the ESCO will be paid. If there is a gap in terms of achieving the target, then there should be a financing mechanism where ESCO has to pay back to the facility owner, because there is a difference of the target being given to the ESCOs. So here there is a support from the insurance side also. So we'll be having separate session. So here, once all this being done, the one more party came into the picture who will do the third party M&V. There could be a possibility of the conflicts. ESCO says the saving could have been achieved if you will not do any such kind of modification in your site. There is a possibility, because if suppose I have an engineering college, there are a lot of activities being construction activity, modification activity, labs, modification keep going on. That could lead to change in the consumption pattern of your building. So here comes the third party who will evaluate and verify the actual saving being achieved during that performance period. So ESCO can claim say X number of percentage saving achieved, but facility owner says no, your target is not achieved, you are just to earn the money you are giving some fake numbers. So to cross check, to cross verify that, we have an third party M&V services where agency cross check and verify and take into the factor all the scenarios, routine adjustments like non routine adjustment, because आप देखते हैं कि over the period of time आप देख रहे हैं कि our weather conditions are keep changing. गर्मियों में गर्मी आप टेम्परेचर अगर ऑब्जर्व करें, सो दैट मीन्स अगर ज़्यादा गर्मी बहुत हो रहा है फ्रॉम द रूटीन, आपका कंजम्पशन तो बढ़ेगा ही अल्टीमेटली उससे. सो इज देयर एनी चेंज इनटू द वेदर कंडीशन और एनी अनफोर्सिन रीजन? मान लीजिए कॉलेज में 10 बिल्डिंग है, एक बिल्डिंग को डिमोलिश कर दिया तो अल्टीमेटली उसका कंजम्पशन कम हो गया, तो ESCO बोलेगा कि भाई हमने तो कंजम्पशन कम किया है, बट अल्टीमेटली हुआ क्या था, बिल्डिंग डिमोलिश हुई थी, उसका कंजम्पशन नहीं हुआ, उससे आपका सेविंग हुआ है. तो उस चीज को वेरीफाई करने के लिए थर्ड पार्टी एजेंसी रखा जाता है टू अवॉइड एनी कंफ्लिक्ट. सो दिस इज द टिपिकल steps for conducting M&V. So this is a standardized process as per the IPMVP protocol, and this model is being used across the world, either in Gulf region, European region or US region, and this is the standard process should be followed if we are actually moving ahead with the ESCO model. So we'll share all this presentation with you. Yeah, thank you very much. If you have any questions, we can discuss after the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll circulate this in the proceedings.
Yes. Boss, एक second. I'll share you one next presentation. So AEEE recently play a role as a facilitator, try to execute in the same way in the Moradabad BRAS cluster. So we are actively working in UP and Maharashtra. So Moradabad BRAS is one of the cluster where we have engaged in, and we are doing a demonstration in ESCO model. So AEEE role was, first we engage all the stakeholders. So we have seen 4 pillars. So all the 4 pillars, we interact with all the 4 pillars. Either it is an ESCO, MSME units, association, and the technology suppliers. So we, set up a meeting there in the Moradabad and, take them through all this process. Moving forward, we provide, the MSME and the technology supplier, with all the requirement of the units. Parallel to that, we carried out all the, contractual obligations in the process which we have discussed. The contractual obligations between the ESCOs and the technology supplier, or the ESCO or the facility owner. So this intervention, we have support and we licensing all this activity. We also, licensing them with, financial security mechanism support. And we provide all the project management support, engaging them with the government entities or the government stakeholders. And after that, we are moving ahead with the upscaling of all this activity. So we are doing this demonstration in Moradabad. This is live case. And maybe my friend from Katyani, they will actually, in their presentation, they will give you more brief about this actual live demonstration in the same way which we have carried out. I'm sure it's a great model and you all will be benefited if go for the implementations.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much,
much.
Mr. Rohela. I think your presentation has thrown up the complexities of the entire ESCO process. And
This is the agreement ceremony which we have carried out. So here you can see we have DM Muradabad also, and we are signing the MOU in front of him, and we are, this is the agreement which we have carried out in Muradabad for the same ESCO model implementation.
so, as I was saying, that it throws up the complexities of the whole process and the reason why the ESCO model is not being adopted. Now, suppose when an MSME or any facility owner wants to take up a project, how should we start? You said the first step is identification of the facility. I don't understand. The facilities is already identified. Question, and that I'm afraid remains unanswered. But all the same, yeah, we'll have Dr. Satish Kumar.
So I think one big question is that I think what you are raising, there are 2-3 elements to this. One is that the project facilitator is a professional. They need to understand the ESCO business model, performance contracting, financing, M&V. They don't need to be an expert, but they must understand, I think, all these things. In India, we don't have ESCO projects which are facilitated by a project facilitator. Okay, so that model kind of doesn't exist. The second big question is that even suppose we have a pool of project facilitators, suppose that B is doing energy auditor training. They include some elements that, okay, these energy auditors can be turned into project facilitators with some additional training. Then the next question is that who pays for their professional time and cost? I think if you have a large national project where multiple projects are happening, there are like hundreds or thousands of crores worth of project is happening, you can set aside that, okay, 1% of this project cost or 0.5% of the project cost could go towards paying for the services of this thing. If we are going to talk about small projects, unfortunately, this model may not work, I think, because then again, I think all these people are not going to offer their time for free. How is paid? ESCO will say that we will not pay, clients will say we will not pay. So maybe a central entity or somebody who has a stake in developing this entire sector needs to carve out that this is an important model and these professionals are important. So these are, I think, some questions that we need to be thinking about. I think if we believe that there is merit, there is some benefits, and it's a neutral entity, it doesn't take side of ESCO, it doesn't take side of the facilities, and it can actually help walk through, I think, and create like a win-win proposition and ultimately sign the contract and deliver the project. So I think that was the idea of, I think, doing this presentation, which Vipin did, because I think he also had some experience, I think, in Gulf of doing some of these things.
Well, I think a suggestion could be that like BE has identified ESCOs and they have validated their experience and so on. On similar line, they could identify facilitators. Like you said, they need to have qualifications of understanding the whole process. Now, as they have identified ESCOs and they have registered ESCOs, about 100 of them, why not we could identify those entities which could facilitate the process? It shouldn't be difficult.
It's also, I think, if Rajiv Kumarji is there from SIDBI, right?
Yeah, he should be able to
SIDBI
answer.
has a pool of money, and they can take out a very small portion. And I think it has also attempted something like this in the past, that I think how the contract actually gets executed. There could be different ways. B is not the only entity. There could be financing.
You see, as we are funding these projects through various financial institutes, SIDBI and others, this fees of the facilitator could be a part of that. So it can be budgeted. I mean, there is no issue on that. If B could make a suggestion on that, whether it's possible.
Sir,
Yes.
Without wasting much energy, this is an energy conservation program. Thanks to the vision and mission of Uttar Pradesh and utilizing the best skills, competency and talent of the people. Coming straight away to the point. You must have heard of McKinsey. You must have heard of Ernst & Young. You must have heard of Accenture. Like that, I belong to a company of defense right now. I'm consulting. I was an ex-project director of LMA. We have framed a forum known as FAME. Like that, I have taken my ex-bosses from top companies of Aditya Birla, Tata, and Reliance. They are retired peoples. And we have right now we have just formed 4 or 5 months back, 7 MSMEs and 2 top companies of India are associated with us with our tagline of business process re-engineering with WCM, world class manufacturing. तो हम लोगों ने बिजनेस प्रोसेस री-इंजीनियरिंग एंडरसन के साथ किया था 10 साल पहले, एसेंचर के साथ में. उसमें एक बिजनेस मॉडल होता है कि जो आपको हमारे से सेविंग होगा, एफिशिएंसी एक तरफ हम लोग बढ़ाते हैं मशीन्स की, OE, one can understand very well. I am from HR.
आप ये बता दीजिए कि उसमें फैसिलिटेटर का रोल क्या होगा? I think we have other
facilitator आपको डेवलप करना है तो companies like us or forum like us can be utilized because you know the speed of the government forums very well. Thank you. There is some question on PLF power में आप conventional और non-conventional energy दोनों में काम कर रहे हैं. Number 1. PLF फैक्टर अगर हमें बढ़ाना है बड़े प्लांट्स में, जो थर्मल प्लांट्स में आप जानते होंगे, उसके बारे में था. नंबर 2 इज एनर्जी के बारे में. अभी एटॉमिक एनर्जी पे स्टार्ट हो गया है, 10 दिन पहले अभी लॉन्च हुआ है US में. उस पर भी कुछ काम आगे हो रहा होगा तो वो इनोवेटिव है. बट PLF बढ़ाना, OE बढ़ाना, इस पे हमारा काम है. तो ऑलरेडी ये फोरम 2 बड़ी, एक टेक्सटाइल पे और एक स्टील कंपनी पे काम कर रहा है. We have the presidents, ex-presidents of these companies. Thank you. क्वेश्चन हमारा ये था, इसलिए बीच में
मेरे ख्याल से नेक्स्ट ले लें सर.
आपका जो 6 मंथ कमीशनिंग टाइम है वो MSME के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा है, जो मुझे लास्ट स्पीकर थे, क्योंकि रिजल्ट अगर MSME का टॉलरेंस टाइम 2-3 महीने से ज़्यादा नहीं होता.
Sir, 6 months is not, I'm specifying mandatory time. It's a bandwidth which, I'm reflecting. There is a possibility, MSME, there is a different size of, units are there. So it's a bandwidth time, where that this work should be completed. Suppose, like I mentioned about this brass cluster, we only have furnaces over there. From the capacity of say 5 kg to 50 kg and all, it hardly takes a week time for the implementation. And if you go with similar kind of steel re-rolling mills, say where large furnace machineries are there, that will take more time, and you know,
Okay, we're here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nisha. I represent a company called DESL. I want to thank the organizers for inviting us to present our experience working with SMEs. Uh, if you move on to the next slide. Okay, I should do it myself, right? Yeah, okay. A little bit about who we are. We are a subsidiary of a French company called Veolia. We've been in the energy efficiency business since 1999. We've been an ESCO, a graded ESCO, since the first grading of ESCO started. Basically staying on theme since the focus of this workshop is on energy efficiency through ESCOs. We just wanted to, energy efficiency is a foundation service that we offer. We moved on to other areas of business also, which has shown there. And what qualifies us to speak to you today about this is the fact that we have worked in over 50 SMEs, SME clusters, most of them since in the last 15 years, over the 25 years period of our experience, of our existence. And this has obviously given us quite a bit of learnings into what flies in terms of, enabling energy efficiency to be implemented by SMEs. So in this presentation, I'll be speaking about two projects where Uttar Pradesh was a focus. The first one was a project that we did where the client was SIDBI. Rajiv ji sitting here was our client, and we had a specific mandate through a World Bank assignment called FEMP. And the second was a smaller project where the client was the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and the focus was in the ceramic cluster in Kurja. If you look at the scope of the assignment in the first phase, it went through all the activities that Vipin outlined. We did a walkthrough energy audit, saw if there is an opportunity or not, and then we did a detailed energy audit leading to an IGDPR. And then there was a finalization of an action plan for implementation and consultation with the industry owner. We provided technical assistance for implementation, and we did post-implementation M&B, both ourselves as well as through a third party. So in Uttar Pradesh, approximately 25 units were covered, and mostly auto ancillaries and SMEs. SME scale, which is small and medium scale industries, not really micro. And most of them were tier 1 or tier 2 vendors of OEMs like Maruti or any other auto vendors. In the project in the Kurja cluster, the scope was rather limited. It was a different approach because we were dealing with mostly less organized industries, if you like, the micro to small cluster, size of industry. It was not mixed, it was a uniform cluster, just ceramic industries. So in addition to energy audits, we also tried to develop, we had a mandate to develop cluster-specific best operating practices, identify commonly and regularly monitorable parameters so that an industry can find out where they stand relative to their past performance or the best performance in the cluster. and the typical metering and measuring requirements that are required for monitoring energy consumption as well as to make sure that the savings are sustained. So here we did a smaller number of industries, 6 units, and there were minor differences in product range, whereas in SIDBI there's very vast difference in product range, which I will be speaking about later. If I look at the structure, we're looking at complexity and customization requirement. We try to address complexity through a set of attributes that we are talking about that I've listed here. So in absolute terms, the scope, scale, and the size are really not daunting in an SME compared to a large designated consumer. The comparison that I've shown here is actually relative to 2 projects, which is the one for SIDBI and the one for at Kurja cluster. So if you speaking about scope, scale, and stakeholders, scope was defined by the client in both the cases. The SIDBI project was a little bit less complex since we are dealing with more organized SMEs as compared to the factories at Kurja. And offering, so therefore in SIDBI we could offer scale. There was an advantage of scale. There was a range of investments that I'll be showing in the subsequent slides. Stakeholders involved in the decision making were more in SIDBI project, obviously. And some level of decentralized decision making was also there because we are dealing with small and medium scale industries as compared to micro and small. And in almost all the cases, 70% of the real specific trait here is that in SMEs, 70% of the factories at least, it may be higher, the decision is made by one person. That one person who's the opening speaker spoke about, there's a lot of demand on his time. That person makes the decision, he handles production, he handles HR, he handles block toilets and everything in the factory. So if you talk about technical challenges, while working with more organized SMEs, data availabilities and standard operating procedures were relatively better. Data availability, as Vipin said, is very important for baselining and to find out, to say that this is where you are and this is where you want to be. So the data availability is better structured in small and medium scale industries as compared to, one person shows that we saw in the other cluster. The other challenge that we had was the absence of forecasted production. Today you're making something, tomorrow it would be a different product, and the energy consumption for that product would be different from the first product. So the absence of a forecasted production plan, because of that makes determining the accuracy, saying that आपका energy savings इतना plus or minus 5% होगा, वो guaranteed to say that with full confidence, it is a bit difficult. Now, some of the factories in Kurja, of course, work only a few days a week. If you look at technology, it is not really a challenge, and most of the recommendations that we made were really presentations, very optimistically, Vipin has shown that decision on projects is happening in 2 months, but no, not really. 6 months is we're lucky to have an action plan in about 3 months and average about 6 months. Acceptance of innovative and advanced solutions, it's, with low risk solutions, it's very easy to sell the project, but the moment complexity is there, it becomes a little more difficult. Everybody wants to see something, is cluster mein aapne lagaya hai kya? So that question is very often we were asked that आप दिखाइए कहाँ पे लगाया है इस cluster में, हमारा cluster special है और हमारा requirement special है, अगर उधर चल रहा है it does not mean that हमारे यहाँ ये चलेगा. So that was a very specific requirement that we had. Generally speaking, the recommendations we made had a very low impact on the operations. Moving to the next slide. Here what I'm showing you is the typical interventions that we worked in a variety of industries, as you can see, ranging from die casting, heat treatment, foundry, etc. Almost all of them are automobile vendors. If there's any participant here who's representing any of the sectors, I will be happy to go into the projects. But the key message here is that there is ample opportunities. At least 70% of the opportunities were accepted for implementation and implemented. But if you see the scale of investment, they are really small. Okay, so if unless we are able to have, if I have to have one person spend 6 months to convert a project of 1 crore, there is a cost attached to it. I have to find a more efficient way to do it. Now, if there are participants from Kurja, 80% of the energy consumption there, 80 to 85, we all know is in the tunnel clean, and quite a number of measures were identified to reduce the fuel consumption. And even in the non-electrical areas, there are quite a lot of opportunities ranging from operational performance improvement to retrofits and replacements that could have been implemented. And in both these cases, in both the projects, typically the payback period is less than 2 years. It pays back very quickly. Because there is a resistance to very high investment projects, we focused on things that can be implemented quite quickly, the low-hanging fruits and the next level of the low-hanging fruits. The partnership models and stakeholder engagement. In the first project, the client was SIDBI, there's the industry association involved. The industry association had a cluster coordination cluster coordination committee, right? And then there was the SME itself that was involved. In some cases where implementation, to drive the implementation, we had to involve some OEMs. The vendors were very closely involved. In the second project, the implementation was not as much a focus. So the client, the industry association, and the B were the main stakeholders that were involved. If you look at the implementation strategies, I'll spend some time here because that would address some of the questions that you asked. In SIDBI, there was a very high acceptance rate of measures in the utility areas as compared to the process, because they feel that the utility is a little less riskier and there is always an N+1 available, so that if this doesn't work, the other piece of equipment can always be brought into operation. So if you tell them to do something in the process, but no, they have a lot of concerns, and that was not accepted as much. The most effective strategies for convincing the SMEs for implementation was one-on-one meetings and interventions through the OEMs. There were many strategies. We had a full 12-point list of strategies that we tried because it was quite a large project. We had the bandwidth to try different things, but thinking back, I think these were the two most effective. Vendors have a big role. You can go out and bring another vendor, but they will like the vendor that they are familiar with and then that they trust with. Similarly, most of these small and medium industries, they have their own in-house consultant. Unless the in-house consultant has bought into your project, the owner is not going to accept us. He's the sounding board, if you like, for the owner. Now, typically with SMEs, we need sufficient time for developing a relationship so that they implement what you're recommending. We have to reach that stage that you know me well enough that you will implement, you know, mere kehne pe laga do status. We reach that state, it's going to take some time, and we need some time to build the trust. Compliance is a huge driver for small and medium scale, particularly when they're part of a supply chain. And in the end, there were incentives such as grants. Financing was less. What we discovered was financing was less. They would find the money somehow to do it if they were sold on the, I'm sure the financiers will not like hearing it, but the fact was that they would find the money to do it if they liked the project and they saw merit in it. So, as I said, in project 2, the Khurja project, the implementation was not a major focus. The intent was to develop replicable projects that could be, you know, one person implements, the other person sees it, and he or she implements this in her factory, and then there is a aggregation of demand, motors, and small projects that are implemented. The project management framework for the SIDBI project, if you're talking about SMEs, there's really no concrete project management framework, okay? So, at best, you have 3 levels. The owner, his general manager, and the next level. So, it's a very top-down approach for implementation, and the nature of the projects was such that there's a quick turnaround possible. You can implement it within 3 months of decision, typically. There's a very high, it should be not increase, there's very high interest in implementing projects that add to the top line and adding to the production. They saw the top line and really not the cost reduction in the midline. So that was one of the drivers for selecting projects for implementation. The project management framework ranged from formal to informal. No, there is no elaborate reporting. There is very limited formal documentation process. There's no WBS level 4 breakdown of project management plan because the investments are really small. If you're talking about contracting models and payment structures, we only work with very traditional structures, direct contracting, design build. But what was actually more relevant here was that even though we were following a conventional path for implementation, quite a bit of our payment as service providers was linked to the SME implementing the accepted recommendations. So even though we were not giving a technical guarantee, there was some bit of fees that would have been paid to us as DESL that was linked to the SME actually implementing the projects. Measurement and verification and performance assurance. MNV, there is little to no awareness of MNV really. Baseline establishment is a massive challenge, but it is circumventable, very, very circumventable. Metering is very, very basic. You may have 1 or 2 meters at plant level. So you are going to have to, they are not going to, any MNV is going, 90% of the cases, 5 projects implemented, 4 projects, 4.5 projects, they will challenge the MNV. The best practices that we saw people understand and implement was improving their metering and monitoring and implementing energy management systems because they really understood at the end of the day that there is a merit in sub-metering. Sorry? Yeah. Partnership models, I think this is my last slide. The project structure, it allowed a deeper and longer term interactions between us and this SME. There's a huge emphasis on implementation and that was a confidence booster to the SME. So when you're talking about ESCO implementation, you have to go step by step. Overnight you go and say ESCO will come and do it. Probably that will not fly. So this, in that sense, that this was a good, a step to moving towards ESCO-based implementation. So as Rajeevji said, this project was the basis for design of several subsequent interventions, both in India as well as abroad. And it also led to the mainstreaming of a number of energy efficiency measures. So in conclusion, what I would like to say is that 3 points, circling back to a few things that the earlier speaker said. The potential for ESCO has not been realized. That is true. That does not mean that energy efficiency is not happening in SMEs. They are happening. It will happen slowly. Partnerships are very important, but in partnerships, we need to be flexible and have a very customized contracting model, which is relevant to the ecosystem that we work in. The North American ecosystem has a comes from a place where any legal agreement can be enforced, whereas we cannot say the same for our ecosystem. So we need to have a customized contracting model. And the complexity of the project is something, we can do complex projects, but if the ecosystem is willing to accept a third party coming in and doing it. And yeah, that's about all I have. I'm open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Mr. Aryan Singh, and he'll present a case study of a hospital. He's a senior associate of Smart Jewels Private Limited.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, all of our guests and esteemed government dignitaries. Can I have the... Okay, just give me a second while they get the presentation on. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Aryan Singh and I work in the CEO's office at Smart Jewels. This works? Cool. So we are an energy service company and we mainly operate in the HVAC sector. So that's heating, ventilation and air conditioning. Our mission is quite straightforward. It is to make energy efficiency simple, substantial and profitable. And the way that we do that is through an innovative cooling as a service business model that I'll talk about more later, as well as using intelligent automation tech to drive energy efficiency. And our vision is to reduce 29 million tons of carbon emissions by 2030. Our impact, so far we have about 50 sites across India. We have saved enough energy to power almost 30 lakh Indian households. And most importantly, we have saved our clients almost 220 crore rupees in energy costs. So I'll first talk a little bit about why energy efficiency. I think a lot of the attendees here know about this. So I'll just skim through that. I'll talk about why there are so many inefficiencies in the HVAC industry currently. And then I'll get into our solutions and talk about our solutions in action. So get to the actual case studies. So there are three main reasons why energy efficiency is essential. The first is that energy demand for cooling is increasing incredibly rapidly. So currently India's total power generation is about 460 gigawatts, but by 2050, cooling alone is going to require 800 gigawatts more. Now we can't really do anything about that in that we can't reduce the demand for cooling, but what we can do is provide that cooling in a more energy efficient manner. The second reason, and I'm going to ask you to guess here, what do you think is the largest component of life cycle cost for, let's say, an HVAC utility in a building? The three parts of the pie, one of them is energy, one of them is CapEx, and one of them is your O&M cost. So can I have a show of hands? Who thinks that CapEx is the highest, is the largest component? Nobody? Okay. Sorry. So there are three components of life cycle cost for any HVAC system, yes. So I'm trying to ask what is the largest component between CapEx, O&M and energy costs? So how many for CapEx? None? How many for O&M? Okay, we have one. And how many for energy? Yeah, you're right. So in life cycle costs, energy, so over its life cycle, energy actually accounts for 50% of the cost of an HVAC system. And that's why the most energy efficient system is always the cheapest HVAC system. And finally, at 2.3 cents per kilowatt hour, energy efficiency is actually the fastest and most economical way to decarbonize buildings. But why is the HVAC industry currently so inefficient? Right? It's mainly because we have some misaligned incentives and not that much accountability. So on the design side, MEP consultants often rely on assumptions rather than data, and they have no incentive to deliver energy efficiency. In fact, sometimes they have perverse incentives because their fee is often a cut of your total project cost, and so they might over-design to make that part of their pie a little bigger. In equipment, there is a focus on initial capex instead of life cycle cost, and there's a hesitancy towards new technologies, and as a result, there's a selection of inferior equipment more often than not. And finally, in O&M, there's no use of real-time performance data, and we rely still on schedule-based maintenance. And again, there's a lack of performance-based incentives, right? It doesn't matter to your operator, to their bottom line, whether they're giving 80% efficiency or 100% efficiency. Now, how is Smart Joules pioneering profitable decarbonization? So we have 3 solutions, and I'll quickly go through each of them. JoulePays is our solution for existing buildings. It is a pay-as-you-save model. So if you have an existing building, we come in, we do an audit, and I'll take you through the process a little later. And we recommend ECMs across design, equipment, and operations. And the real driving force here, though, is our fee structure, which is an energy performance contract, where we establish a baseline of what the energy use has been for the building in the past, and we guarantee a certain percentage of savings. So let's say we guarantee 25% of energy savings every month. Now, if we don't meet that target, we actually pay a penalty to the tune of that cost. But if we exceed that target and we're giving you those savings, then we get a cut of those savings. So if the client is making the investment, the CapEx investment, then we get 30% of the monthly savings. And if we are making the CapEx investment, then we get 70% of the monthly savings. And the reason or the thing about the cooling as a service model that is very important to understand is that because we can invest in CapEx, we're shifting the focus from the initial CapEx to the total lifetime cost. And this retrofit model, we now have 34 active facilities, and on average, we're delivering about 20% energy savings for all of our clients. Moving on to JouleCool, which is our solution for new buildings. It's essentially the same, except because we can't establish a baseline of past energy usage, we guarantee a particular efficiency for the HVAC system, let's say 0.7 kilowatts per ton of refrigeration. If we don't meet that target, if our efficiency is worse, again, we pay a penalty. And beyond a certain point, let's say we go below 0.6 kilowatts per ton of refrigeration, then we keep some of the energy savings that we're giving our clients. And in JouleCool, this is relatively new for us to be working in new buildings. So we have 2 projects that are currently operational, 3 that are ongoing. And again, we are delivering about 20 to 30% energy savings across these projects. Finally, we have DJoule, which is essentially an intelligent building management system. So we're using ML and AI and really using a lot of data to continuously optimize and squeeze out greater and greater efficiency through intelligent energy optimization. And this entire system has been built entirely in-house, both the hardware and the software. So the 3 important things to know about DJoule is that it is the most economical BMS in the market. So we're 20 to 30% cheaper than the standard industry BMS.
This is for existing buildings?
Yes, yes. This can be installed in any building. Uh, the second is we are incredibly convenient. Currently, a BMS, you can only operate from within the building, from a room in the basement. But our BMS, you can use from any device that has an internet connection. And for some tasks, yeah. And for some tasks, you can actually use WhatsApp. And finally, as I said, we're using a lot of data and ML and AI on top of that to continuously improve the energy performance of buildings. And finally, to come to the Smart Joules that long, and when I first came, I asked, what is our sales process? How does it work? And they said, why? It's not sales, it's project development. बहुत time लगता है. There's many meetings, and there's a lot of revision till you finally agree on a proposal. Once the design is signed off on, we formalize that a little bit more with detailed energy conservation measure notes. And then we get a project execution, which generally takes, I would say, 6 to 12 months, depending on what the scope of the project is. Once the project is in operation, we have a dedicated site energy engineer who is monitoring energy usage every day to make sure that we're hitting our targets. We have our intelligent BMS that is constantly running and learning more and more to optimize energy. And we obviously conduct semi-annual audits to ensure that we are hitting our targets. I have a case study from the Le Méridien Hotel in Gurgaon. So on the design side, we used low approach cooling towers. We carefully matched the load profile to equipment curves. So equipment curve is basically how a particular equipment will perform at different frequencies, I guess, if it's a fan or a pump or whatever it might be. And given that we have so many years of data from so many sites, we're able to more efficiently or more effectively find that equipment performance curve. In terms of equipment, we installed new premium efficiency chillers, we installed variable speed pumps, and we obviously installed a lot of sensors to better understand plant performance. On operations, we are monitoring energy consumption minute-wise. Our BMS system allows you to completely automate the operation of the chiller plant. So you can just put it in auto mode and leave it, and it will give you the highest energy efficiency possible. And we've moved from schedule-based maintenance to need-based maintenance because we're constantly monitoring the performance of all of the equipment. And the result of that was that before Le Méridien started working with us, they were getting an efficiency of about 1.05 kilowatts per ton of refrigeration. And once we implemented all of these ECMs, now they're getting about 0.72 kilowatts per ton of refrigeration. So that's about a 30% increase in energy efficiency. And then to see Joule Cool in action. So this is a site that I'm actually very well versed with. I've spent a lot of time at this site in Nasik. So there was a number of key technical interventions that we did compared to the business as usual case or the initial proposal that the client had. So we implemented a radiant cooling system, which is essentially the cutting edge of cooling systems across the world. We equipped our air handling units with EC fans, which allows us to optimize energy in varying load conditions. We implemented a distributed zone-specific chilled water pumping system, which means that instead of having just two massive pumps running in your plant room and pushing water to every part of your building, we actually just had circulation pumps running there. And then based on the need for each floor, we had booster pumps that are in real time changing the amount of pressure and flow that each floor needs. We designed an energy efficient chiller plant with low approach cooling towers. We used economizer design, which allows you to use free air from the environment when the ambient conditions are favorable, and chemical-free water treatment system, radiant cooling, the list goes on. And the result of this was that in design itself, right? So in the design capacity of the system itself, we were able to save, we were able to rationalize cooling capacity by about 27%, right? So earlier the system was designed with a capacity of 1,000 tons of refrigeration, but we went in and through our audit figured out that actually this facility only needs 750 tons of refrigeration. You know those 250? Yes, sir. It's a hospital. So there itself, we were able to provide massive savings. And then because we have partnerships with different OEMs and we're doing this at so many different sites across the country, we were able to negotiate 4 to 5% lower cost for the equipment. And within operations, using DJoule and basically just using data really smartly, we have guaranteed a 30% improvement in energy efficiency. And this project has just about started. And so the final conclusion is that in CapEx itself, we saved KIMS Hospital about 2.5 crores. And over the life cycle cost, we're saving them about 20 crore rupees. So yeah, these are all of our sites across the country. And as I mentioned earlier, we're delivering an average energy efficiency improvement of about 29%. So that's all from me. I just want to end with saying that, energy efficiency, if done right, is a win-win-win in that our clients win because they're saving a lot of money from energy costs. We win because we're able to do this profitably. And obviously, the planet wins because you're able to mitigate a lot of carbon emissions. So, yeah, thank you for giving Smart Joules the opportunity to present here. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to reach out, you can reach us at info@smartjoules.in, or you can find me after the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aryan. The next speaker is Mr. Amlan Panda, co-founder and CTO of Energia Microgrid Private Limited. This is another case study on hospitals.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for AEEE and Lucknow Management Association for organizing this event. So I'll just introduce myself. I'm Amlan, and I'm the founder of a company called Energia. We are an energy service company based out of New Delhi, and we have offices in 5 cities in the country. Can you move? Okay. Right, so we are focusing on energy efficiency, and our core focus is utilities. Now, utilities are cross-cutting across industries and commercial buildings. So we have a focus on HVAC, on compressed air, on motors, pumps, and fans. So these are the large 5 systems that we have a deep focus on, which can be found in almost each and every industry or commercial building. So we are an end-to-end energy efficiency company. We start by identifying opportunities. We select the equipment. We finance the equipment, or if required, we arrange the financing. Then we go on to executing the project. We install, commission, and then there is a continuous monitoring and verification of the savings. So there has been a lot of talk that M&V needs to happen annually or monthly. So we have a different approach. The entire baselining and monitoring and verification process is completely digital. So it happens on a per minute basis. It is happening real time. We can see the savings of today, of last month, or of the last quarter on our platform. So we believe that we need to shift from the older approach of one-time audits and one-time M&Vs or annual M&Vs to continuous digital audits and continuous digital monitoring and verifications. So of course, everyone knows energy efficiency is the lowest hanging fruit, and this graph by IEA just tells us the story that energy efficiency has the largest potential for CO2 abatement across sectors. So हमने बहुत सुना है, 2010 से बहुत सारी solar companies ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, बहुत wind companies ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है. But in fact, now is the time that energy efficiency and ESCOs also realize कि the potential of our work to actually abate the CO2 and achieve India's climate goal as well as the world's climate goals, we have a huge role to play. So that is why we as a company are focusing on energy efficiency. These are some of our customers. Our customers are large industrial manufacturing facilities to even small SMEs and MSMEs. We have a good presence in Uttar Pradesh, specifically so in Noida, Greater Noida, Kasna, Surajpur and that belt, because we are from Delhi NCR. Coming to the utilities we work on, as I explained, we are working on air compressors, we are working on HVAC, we are working on heat, so basically thermal systems, boilers, hot water generators, as well as we are working on backup power. So we also work on reducing your emissions from your diesel generators which run during backup. So we had a lot of case studies. I thought we'll just diversify the mix. Before my presentation, there was a case study on HVAC, and before that, there was a larger case study on clusters. I will have a very focused case study on an air compressor optimization of a sheet metal manufacturer based in Uttar Pradesh. So air compressor is essentially compressed air, जो for example गाड़ी के टायर में भरते हैं, वो भी compressed air है. But industries में बहुत ज़्यादा compressed air की requirement रहती है for pneumatic systems and for other process related activities. In this specific project, it was a small 1250 CFM air compressor plant which had a very poor efficiency. Here we did a ESCO agreement, and so far in year one we have unlocked around 7 lakh units, thereby saving approximately 56 lakh for the customer. This was a shared savings contract, 5 साल का contract है, जिसमें Energia is financing all the energy conservation measures. जो नए चीज़ें लगाने हैं, हमने उसको फाइनेंस किया है, डिज़ाइन किया है, लगाया है, और हम उसको मेंटेन भी कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक दिस इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट कि वन टाइम लगाना नहीं है चीज़ को, उसको आपको इंडस्ट्री बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस के साथ मेंटेन करना है, सो दैट एफिशिएंसी डाउन नहीं होती है. सो इन दिस पर्टिकुलर फैसिलिटी, compressed air was one of the major sections of the energy consumers. Daily consumption was roughly around 5,000 units. There were production issues also because numerous compressors were run. There were frequent pressure drops across the system. Production ruk jata tha. So of course, what we did is, this is our usual typical timeline. We started with a IoT-based energy audit. When I say IoT-based, I mean we go install our sensors and on a per second basis we monitor वो सिस्टम चल क्या रहा है. तो सुबह कैसा चल रहा है, रात को कैसे चल रहा है, शाम को कैसे चल रहा है, मंडे को कैसे चल रहा है, वीकेंड को कैसे चल रहा है, एंड डेवलप अ ब्रॉड बेसलाइन ओवर 15 to 20 days टू अंडरस्टैंड कि इंडस्ट्री का पैटर्न क्या है और एयर कंप्रेसर प्लांट का पैटर्न क्या है. Post that audit, we identified यहाँ पे काफ़ी opportunity है. So we submitted the project report and the ESCO proposal. Thankfully, this particular MSME, the owner was very forward thinking. So he quickly got the concept. He quickly got how the financing works. Within 3 months, we signed the contract. Post signing the contract, of course, it took us some more time to do the procurement, installation and commissioning, and post that we are in the savings phase. So this project started in December of 2022, and energy audit took around 1 month. Then we had the analysis and proposal stage, and typically in 3 to 4 months we got to the contract signing. Of course, this is a very rare and exceptional scenarios. On an average, we see 4 to 6 months is the time that requires from project origination to signing of the ESCO contract. And from signing of the ESCO contract to actual saving start is another 3-4 months because equipment खरीदना है, install करना है, उसमें भी time लगता है. But this just gives you a general idea. I would not go into details how ESCO contracting works, but this is the typical model. We did a 80-20 shared savings model. Simple. प्रोजेक्ट का जो भी कैपेक्स था हमने लगाया, जो भी मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट है नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स का हम लगाएंगे, जो भी सेविंग आएगी उसका 80% हम बिल करेंगे और 20% कस्टमर रखेगा. पोस्ट 5 इयर्स जो भी सेविंग्स आएगी वो पूरा का पूरा कस्टमर के पास है. सो दिस इज द टिपिकल शेयर्ड सेविंग्स एस्को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जिसके बारे में ये वर्कशॉप है. नाउ ये किया कैसे? Of course, there were numerous energy conservation measures that we had to implement here. It is not as simple कि एक मोटर बदल दी या एक एयर कंप्रेसर बदल दिया. We identified all the पुराने air compressors and replaced them with only 2 new air compressors. उसमें भी there was a design selection. We kept one larger air compressor for base load and one which was VFD driven. We replaced their air dryer which was purging. Air dryer बहुत हवा waste करती थी, उसको replace किया with a new air dryer and essentially एक पूरा नया compressor room ही बना के दे दिया to the client. So that was the total project. Typical this project investment was quite low. It was around 1 to 1.2 CR. And through essential continuous monitoring and verification of the saving is happening till date. Talking about the IPMVP selection कि हमने ये baseline कैसे किया, तो हमने इस project को baseline किया है kilowatt per CFM के basis पे. So we said that this is the kilowatt per CFM जो आपका baseline है and आज के बाद for the next 5 years every the flexibility to the customer कि रोज ज़बरदस्ती नहीं चलाना है equipment, उनको अपने production के हिसाब से चलाना है, but they are assured कि जो भी आज मेरा production है मेरे को हवा सबसे efficient मिलेगी. So protocol IPMVP, this was option B where we have isolated the compressor room and installed metering only at the compressor room. So of course this project was unique because it gave a lot of savings, 38% savings, because essentially we were replacing very old technology with very new and premium efficiency technology. Monthly savings of around 4.5 lakh. तो मोटा मोटा अगर मैं बोलूँ तो we are getting billed at around 3.5 lakh and 1 lakh the customer is keeping. So this is like free cash flow for the customer. Now specific energy consumption of now that we are maintaining at 7 bar outlet is 0.19, which was earlier around 0.3 or more. And of course, this is the CO2 savings impact annually. Now, scalability of this project in UP and in other MSMEs, हर इंडस्ट्री में एयर कंप्रेसर है. ऑफ कोर्स ये प्रोजेक्ट चलेगा जहाँ पे ज़्यादा थोड़ी रिक्वायरमेंट है एयर कंप्रेसर्स की. वी आर ट्राइंग टू स्केल दिस अप बिकॉज HVAC में बहुत काम चल रहा है, मोटर्स पंप्स में बहुत काम चल रहा है, बट एयर कंप्रेसर्स इवन द OEMs have not looked at this market from this way. So we have very high level MOUs signed with the top OEMs of air compressors as well as HVAC as well as motors. We are trying to take all the OEMs together. हम बोल रहे हैं हमको कुछ नया नहीं करना, मैं नहीं बना रहा एयर कंप्रेसर या मोटर या पंप. I am just trying to fit the correct product with the correct client with the correct business model. So that is what the ESCO does. It is the true facilitator of energy savings. Yes, that's about it. So It was a very brief presentation about the case study. I realize it's very late in the night, but if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us. Just go through our website. And thank you for calling us. I hope it would be useful for those who attended. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have Mr. Mukesh Kumar, Director, Katyani. So this is Mr. Mukesh Kumar from Katyani Energy Solutions Private Limited.
Good evening, all of you. Myself, Mukesh Kumar from Katyani Energy Solution Private Limited. Katyani Energy incorporated in 1987. तो हम लोग लगभग मोर देन 1000 इंडस्ट्री का एनर्जी ऑडिट, बेसलाइन ऑडिट एंड M&B किया है, जिसमें डिफरेंट सेक्टर हैं, थर्मल, रेलवे, टेक्सटाइल, स्टील, डिस्कॉम एंड अदर सेक्टर्स। उसमें हम लोगों ने जो एस्को प्रोजेक्ट पे मोर देन 60 इंडस्ट्री को हम लोग एनर्जी एफिशिएंट प्रोडक्ट से हमने फैसिलिटेट किया है, जिसमें 30 इंडस्ट्री को हम लोगों ने खुद का फंडिंग करके हमने एस्को इम्प्लीमेंटेशन मोटर पे किया है। हमने बी के साथ, सिडबी के साथ काफ़ी प्रोजेक्ट किए हैं, बट फंडिंग का इशू रहा है। हमने अभी हमने इस स्लाइड में एक गोल्डन प्लास्टिक बवाना का हमने एक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन इसमें दिखाया है। हमने वहाँ मोर देन 30 इंडस्ट्री मोल्डिंग मशीन पे ही हमने काम किया है। इस पे हमने एनर्जी एफिशिएंट मोटर विद BFD पे वर्क किया था। इसमें हमने जो सेविंग दिखाई है, इसमें जो डिफरेंट कैपेसिटी की मशीन्स हैं वहाँ पे अभी हमने 50 टन हमें पेमेंट मिला है। कुछ 2-3 इंडस्ट्री में कुछ इशू आए बीच में, लेकिन वो भी रिकवर हो गया। तो मेन हमने ये देखा कि जो भी MSME है, मैक्सिमम यूनिट MSME है। बवाना यूपी के कई एक शहर में, गाजियाबाद में हमने कुछ काम किया। वहाँ हमने झूमर नमकीन के लिए काम किया सिडबी के साथ। बट सिडबी ने खुद वहाँ क्लाइंट को फंडिंग किया, बट अगर एज ए एस्को कंपनी की बात करें तो हम लोगों को फंडिंग नहीं मिलता है। ना तो मैंने एस बैंक से ट्राई किया, HDFC से ट्राई किया, तो वो मुझे बिजनेस लोन देने के लिए तैयार हो गए, पर्सनल लोन देने के लिए तैयार हो गए, लेकिन एस्को प्रोजेक्ट पे वो फंडिंग करने को तैयार नहीं हुए। तो हमने बैंक से, ICICI बैंक से हमने पर्सनल लोन लेके ये सारे प्रोजेक्ट हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किए हैं और बहुत अच्छा सेविंग भी हमने क्लाइंट को करके दिया। क्लाइंट इंटरेस्टेड हैं, लेकिन क्लाइंट अपना पैसा लगाने को तैयार नहीं होते। तो मेजर एक चैलेंज हमें यहाँ पे आया कि अगर गवर्नमेंट इसमें कोई सब्सिडी, कोई ग्रांट, टैक्स रिलैक्सेशन, इस तरीके की कुछ भी स्कीम अगर देती है तो इसमें बहुत ही अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है एस्को के लिए और MSME के लिए भी। ये जस्ट एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग एंड पेमेंट मॉडल स्ट्रक्चर है कि हम लोग क्लाइंट के साथ कैसे एग्रीमेंट का क्या प्रोसेस है, पेमेंट का क्या टर्म्स है, वो हमने इसमें दिखाया है। और मेजर चैलेंजेस जो हमारे साथ आया, कुछ जो टेक्निकल चैलेंजेस हैं सप्लायर के साइड से, कि जैसे हम अगर कोई मोटर इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, मोटर रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पे बहुत सारे एसेसरीज के साथ हमें वो फिटिंग नहीं बैठ पाता है। सपोज करें कि जैसे मैंने कोई 15 HP का मोटर हमने रिप्लेसमेंट के लिए लाया, अब वहाँ पे उनके और भी जो एसेसरीज हैं वो फिटिंग नहीं बैठते हैं, तो वो उसमें हमारा टाइम और हमारा पैसा भी एक्स्ट्रा उसमें आता है। जो हमारा टारगेट होता है, जो हमारा पेबैक पीरियड होता है, वहाँ पे हमारा पेबैक पीरियड बढ़ जाता है। फिर भी हमने देखा कि जो मोटर का हमने रेट्रो फिटिंग किया, उसमें 24 मंथ टू 30 मंथ्स में हमारा पेबैक पीरियड आ रहा है। अभी AEEE के साथ हमने एक प्रोजेक्ट अभी साइन किया है। इसमें AEEE हमें फिनेंशियल रिस्क गारंटी ले रही है मुरादाबाद ब्रास क्लस्टर में। यहाँ पे मोर देन 20,000 इंडस्ट्री है जो ब्रास क्लस्टर में है। इसमें हमने देखा, और अभी जो हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, कोल बेस भट्टी जो है उसको हम गैस बेस भट्टी से रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं, जिसमें अभी टोटल वहाँ कार्बन एमिशन रिडक्शन पोटेंशियल जो है 1,50,000 टन ऑफ CO2 एनुअली ओनली ब्रास क्लस्टर में। तो अभी हम लोग उस पर जो काम कर रहे हैं, अभी 45 to 65 kg कोल 100 kg ब्रास को गलाने में कॉस्ट लगता है, उसको 7 to 14 kg गैस से हम उसको रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं, जिसमें कि मिनिमम टू मिनिमम जो कॉस्ट है 125 रुपये पर kg के हिसाब से हमारा आ रहा है, जो कि एक बड़ा सेविंग है। इसमें हमने काफ़ी टाइम दिया, 6 मंथ से हम लगे हुए हैं वहाँ पे। फिर मुझे AEEE का सपोर्ट मिला है, तो अभी हम इसको स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। बट वहाँ का जो भी MSME है, वो कोई भी अपना 1 रुपया लगाने में सक्षम नहीं है और लगाना नहीं चाहता। और सारे MSME जो हैं वो बहुत ही छोटे छोटे घर में भी ये काम कर रहे हैं। एज ए एस्को हमारे लिए इतना बड़ा चैलेंज है कि अगर हम वहाँ पे अगर ये टारगेट लेके चलें कि 50-50 के फेज में, 100 के फेज में, 25 के फेज में भी अगर हम इस भट्टी को रिप्लेस करते हैं, इस फर्नेस को रिप्लेस करते हैं, तो शायद कहीं हमारा पैसा डूब न जाए। इस वजह से हम लोग अभी इस पे काम नहीं कर रहे हैं। सिर्फ एक प्रोजेक्ट अभी हमारा फरवरी में कंप्लीट होगा, इसलिए कि AEEE ने वो फिनेंशियल रिस्क गारंटी ली है। तो अगर गवर्नमेंट का इस पे सपोर्ट मिले, गवर्नमेंट का इस पे रुझान अगर आता है, तो बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा इंडस्ट्री के साथ भी होगा, एस्को के लिए भी होगा। और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ कि वहाँ जो CO2 जो रिड्यूस हो रहा है, इतना कोयला से इतनी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है वहाँ के लोगों को, इतनी बीमारियाँ फैल रही है, उसमें भी हमें फ़ायदा मिलेगा। इसके कुछ इमेज भी हमने डाले हैं। पहले जो भट्टी चल रहा है वो इस तरीके का भट्टी है, अभी गैस बेड भट्टी आ रहा है। तो इसमें होता क्या है कि जब भी आप भट्टी को यूज करते हो, जब कोयला लगाते हो, तो मिनिमम 30 मिनट उसको हीटिंग के लिए उसका टाइम लगता है। गैस में इमीडिएट आप ऑन ऑफ कर सकते हो। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे फीचर्स हैं इसका, जिसमें कि हमें उस यूजर्स को भी फ़ायदा है कि टाइम सेव हो रहा है, पैसा सेव हो रहा है, वहाँ का एटमॉस्फेयर सही रह रहा है। तो ये हमारा एक नया ये इनिशिएटिव है। अभी मैं AEEE और LMA को धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे हमें ये मौका मिला है अपने इस छोटे से एस्को प्रोजेक्ट को प्रेजेंट करने का। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Now I think we have this online presentation. Ms. Preksha Tripathi from, this is about the insurance of the ESCO project. This is a new concept and I think it should be very, very informative. So can we start?
Hi Raj. Thank you. Thank you so much. Will do. Let me know once you see my screen. Hi Raj, can you see my screen? Okay. All right, thank you so much. Okay, shall I start? All right, thank you everyone. Thank you Raj and thank you AEEE for giving me an opportunity. I'll quickly introduce myself as well. My name is Preksha Tripathi and I'm a relationship manager for the government business and public-private partnership in Munich Re, India. And I also lead the energy efficiency insurance. All right, so I'll won't take much of your time understanding the time constraints here. So I'll quickly just give you a background about this. So again, thank you all for being here today. And I'm quite delighted to have this opportunity to present energy efficiency insurance for the Indian market to you. So over the next 7-8 minutes, I'll explain the opportunities, the product coverage and benefits, the target audience and support we expect from you. I hope to engage you in an informative and interactive session. Thank you. Okay, so I'm sure that someone already must have already covered the opportunities in India. So what we understand here that we already have a green revolution in the country going on, and the government has set an ambitious target of having 500 gigawatt of installed renewable energy by 2030, which includes the installation of 280 GW of solar power and 140 GW of wind power. But we understand that at Glasgow in COP26, our Prime Minister of India has already updated and announced our NDCs, the National Determined Targets for India. And this is an opportunity, I can say, that for energy efficiency market, because we have a very strong international push. We have the support of Prime Minister of India. We do have this target of, zero emission, etc. And which is, definitely, this is study you all been doing, the AEEE has been doing, that India's energy independence pathway would involve the power sector installing more than 500 gigawatt of non-fossil electricity generation by 2030. And a goal already announced by the government, followed by 80% clean grid by 2040. So what we understand that only the 5% of the market has been tapped by ESCO so far, and there is still a lot of worth 16.7 billion euros is out to tap. What we understand in our research so far, so if I'll give you a background, I'll just simply say that this is we introduced this innovative concept to the Indian market, which has already achieved success in the UK and US markets under the leadership of HSB. HSB is Munich Re's subsidiary only, Hartford steam boiler. So we started with market research and engaging with various stakeholders, including ESCOs, EESL, BEE, GIZ India, and all the stakeholders to gain insights into the demand for this product in India. And it has been almost a year now that, we have identified several major barriers to energy efficiency, which is, first is access to finance, which is a major one. Now, lack of knowledge for the people who are not from the market, and the technical know-how for some of the financial institutions because they have expertise in financials. Now, the lack of focus and time, resistance to changing established norms, and disbelief in the benefits of energy efficiency. We've been trying a lot to, work around the same, the busy operational schedules we've been seeing, competing priorities. Changing established practices can be difficult with many stakeholders reluctant to adopt new technologies or methods. There is a skepticism about the tangible benefits of energy efficiency measures that can hinder this adoption. Going ahead, what I can say simply that this product that we have, the EI product, is a credit enhancement product as per the product structure. So energy efficiency is developed by HSB now as a Munich Re group, and now we've been introducing this to all the part of Asia and India and also UK, US markets. It's anyway working, and in circulation. Now we do have some, already we have done some of the forums, a kind of a pilot we tried doing with some of the institutions, with ADB, who's been helping around us, and with the BEE, etc. What this slide highlights, the key aspects of energy efficiency assurance with a particular emphasis on credit risk enhancement, which is one of the major benefits that ESCOs can leverage. So this product, what we have, one of the most significant advantage is the reduction of financial exposure for lenders and investors. The insured project performance improves the credit worthiness of the ESCOs, resulting in lower interest rates and financing costs of the projects. Now, this in turn enhances the credit risk of the ESCOs, creating a positive impact on their overall cost of capital that they put. So in the end, I can say it's not only mitigates the financial risk, but also makes energy efficiency projects more attractive and feasible by boosting the credit profile of those leading the initiatives. I'm moving first. Reason behind that, we can take all the questions at the end, and I understand the time constraints. Now the product part, the EEI coverage, what it's covering. So for the inclusion of energy efficiency insurance coverage in this new product introduces a feature that provides compensation in case there is a shortfall in the total annual efficiency savings due to shortcomings in the design, implementation, and performance contract. So in such instances, the insurer will reimburse the insured party, which would be ESCO, for the incurred financial losses. Now, it also provides coverage for all risk property or equipment breakdown coverage for the equipment owner, whether that be the ESCO, contractor, or the facility. And the third coverage, which is combined, is business interruption, especially for the revenues generated by the project. So EEI provides coverage for a wide variety of energy conservation measures. It includes HVAC, lightning, air handling, air control system upgrades, and insulation improvements, solar panels, water conservation, and a lot. What I want to emphasize is this product, what we are providing is not for a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year. What we are providing is up to the 5 years of coverage. So the product can complete, the whole project can get completed and it does not have to renew every time. Now, going ahead. Would like to state the insurance, EEI insurance benefits for all the stakeholders. We understand ESCO is the major player who would carry the project most of the time. Then investors are there who had to put their money, be it financial institutions, be it banks, be it, any other personal, individual, corporate that invest in project, or end customer. What we'd like to emphasize here, it allows all the building if I'll say for the building owners, etc., what I'll say that it allows the building owners, contractors, etc., to protect their balance sheet, reduce the balance sheet liability associated with energy savings performance contracts. What I'd like to emphasize for customer first, the building owners. It can reduce their operating cost. It helps to get financing and project funding, and it can definitely result in improved credit worthiness and may lower interest rates and financing costs. So there is a greater customer confidence in the ability to deliver energy saving projects. How it's going to benefit the banks or investor or financial institutions. Financial institutions have the financial expertise, what we can say. So it will remove the technical risk uncertainty from the project with the insurance backup. It can improve their credit worthiness of energy saving projects. It have a potential reduction in loan loss reserves. So there's a loan repayments are protected. Any ESCO can have a loan, and in terms of or in case of any energy shortfall, it is covered. So the bank and investors are happy. So we customize this insurance to precise requirements of each client and have the flexibility to tailor terms to address the needs of ESCOs, building owners, and project lenders. Okay, going forward. This is a project landscape. So energy efficiency, how it works, you can see all these. These are the stakeholders that gets involved here. So it outlines the process of assessing an energy efficiency insurance project broken down into these phases. So ESCO carries the financing, project development and implementation cost, guaranteeing a percentage saving, you can say here. And now, retaining the balance of total savings to service debt and cover cost, ESCO assumes both the technical and credit risk of the project. This landscape says. The EI, this insurance covers total savings, not just those which has been guaranteed. Here you can see here, these are the costs that ESCO has put in. These are the debt services, and this is a saving which has been promised. It's not just we're gonna cover the saving part here. We are covering everything, the debt service, the ESCO, everything else. So now the EI covers total saving, not just those guaranteed, transferring the technical risk to the insurer, subject to deductible, and creating credit risk enhancement, which leads to more favorable terms for banks and investors. So this slide outlines the project landscape, shows the role of different stakeholders in a typical energy efficiency retrofit project. So on the left, you see this before EEI, energy efficiency insurance, the project incurs high energy cost. Now during, energy savings begin, but debt service payments, to the ESCO, the energy saving company, the remaining energy cost still need to be covered. Now after taking the insurance, energy efficiency insurance, the project benefits fully from savings, significantly reducing energy costs. Now, the center of the slide depicts the relationship between the investor, bank, ESCO and the project. So bank provides a loan with fixed repayment issues. ESCO implements the project and receives payment based on their savings achieved. And now the insurance through an energy efficiency insurance policy plays a key role in covering potential risks that machinery breakdown, business interruption, etc. and the performance saving definitely, which is crucial for this project. Lastly, an energy consultant here. So it's a precondition for this insurance, providing technical assessments to ensure the project's viability. The fees would be borne by the insurance and reinsurance companies only, not by the ESCO or other, beneficiaries. So this holistic process demonstrates how energy efficiency projects reduce costs and risk through collaboration between these key players. If you want me to break it down in a more, depth and want to explain, I'd be happy so. Moving forward. Now, I understand the business appetite it's a very, in simple terms, there's a very big energy efficiency market here. But we can see some of the examples I have anyway mentioned earlier as well, that there's a commercial office, public buildings for the retrofitting, storage facilities, hospitals. These are the some occupancies that we, target. And the technologies part may lighting, heating, ventilation, these building management system, etc. These are only examples. It's quite a vast, business appetite we have for EEI. And also at the end, I just simply say in simple terms, the ESCO helps you lower your energy cost, and the debt service is what you pay to the bank for the loan that funded the improvement. So insurance steps in to protect you in case anything goes wrong with these upgrades. I'd be happy to take any questions if there are any. Thank you, Raj. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you very much. We'll have a short question answer session. If there are any questions.
Yeah, I'm able to. Yes, I'm able.
Well, we'll have questions for all the speakers in this session. And I could start with the question to Mr. Panda, and the same question to Mr. Aryan Singh. How did your clients identify you, and how was the performance contract drafted? Who drafted it? And the third question is, how did you satisfy the customer about the savings in power consumption?
Thank you, sir.
for
I'll just
energy.
quickly answer all the three questions. So first, how did the client search us? उल्टा हुआ, हम ढूंढ रहे हैं. So we have active development and sales people who are actively looking for large manufacturing facilities and MSMEs, and ऐसे करते करते. So every year we visit probably 300 facilities, in which probably we do 100 audits, as उसमें से 20 project निकलते हैं. So that is typically the funnel. The second question is, who drafted the contract? So our contract is a model contract. हमने ही खुद draft किया है, but today I think AEEE has also collaborated and in consultation with us and a lot of ESCOs, they have basically drafted a model contract जो कि BE ने भी अपने website and tenders में publish कर रहा है. So it's pretty much similar. So I think जब हम 4 साल पहले ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट देते थे तो लोगों के ज़्यादा सवाल थे, बट अब थोड़ा स्टैंडर्डाइज हो रहा है, कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी भी कम हो रही है. पहले वो 30 पेज का था, अब वो 15 पेज का हो रहा है. गोइंग फॉरवर्ड आई थिंक उसको 5 पेज का भी करना पड़ेगा. बट दैट इज़ द आंसर टू योर क्वेश्चन. एंड द थर्ड क्वेश्चन इज़, वेरीफाई कैसे हो रहा है? बहुत सिंपल है सर. एनर्जी मीटर्स लगा रहे हैं हम, फ्लो मीटर्स लगा रहे हैं, हर मिनट डेटा आ रहा है सबके फ़ोन पे, सबके कंप्यूटर पे, रियल टाइम मॉनिटरिंग हो रही है. एंड वही चीज़ मोर और लेस जब बिजली का बिल भी आता है एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ, मोर और लेस मैच करता है. वाई वी कांट डिपेंड ओनली ऑन द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल जो कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड दे रही है, बिकॉज बिजली बहुत इक्विपमेंट्स कंज्यूम कर रही है. हम फोकस कर रहे हैं एक स्पेसिफिक सेक्शन पे, तो हम उस सेक्शन पे सब मीटरिंग करते हैं, जिससे जो मीटर कोई भी फिजिकली वेरीफाई कर सकता है क्लैम्प मीटर से, और कोई भी जाके रीडिंग ले सकता है एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. बट वो फैसिलिटी हम प्रोवाइड करते हैं, ऑनलाइन दे देते हैं कि आप रात को अपने घर बैठ के भी देखो अभी क्या चल रहा है आपके प्लांट में और क्या कंजम्पशन है. सो देयर इज़ नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ओनली. सो दैट इज़ हाउ थ्रू डिजिटाइजेशन वी आर ट्राइंग कि सेविंग्स पे क्वेश्चन ना आए.
The same question to Smart Juice, is it the same answer? वो चलेगा. Okay. Sir.
So I have a follow-up question. I think, so what happens when, I think to Vipin's point, that the baseline gets changed? And I think, how do you account for that? So if there is some sort of an adjustment that has to be made, where just looking at the meters is probably not going to be enough. And then I have a question for Preksha. Preksha, there, I think I saw, and we have discussed about this topic of Munich Hari requiring an energy consultant. There was a presentation before you where we used the term project facilitator. I think in many ways, I feel that what Munich Hari is requiring, this energy consultant, there is significant overlap between like a project facilitator, because they are likely to do similar sort of work. Here they are going to be answerable to, I think, Munich Hari. In national programs, they could be answerable to the national entity like Bureau of Energy Efficiency or somebody. So, so I think that's just an observation. But one question I have is that when you are saying that debt service and everything is going to be covered through EEI, what is the typical sort of like costing or pricing for your product? So is it going to be a function of the total project cost? Is it going to be a function of the savings, I think, that is getting promised? I think how that is sort of, and who is going to be paying for this insurance? Is it the ESCO which is buying the insurance? Is it the facility that is buying this insurance, or they could be bought by anybody? So if you can expand upon that as well. Thank you.
Who will reply first?
So I'll just quickly reply to your question, Satish sir. So the question, so what I explained, हम जो baselining कर रहे हैं वो कर रहे हैं kilowatt per CFM in that particular case study. There are other baselines also we adopt. For example, kWh per production. So this is like specific energy consumption. So in the latter case, kWh per production, there the question of adjustments come because production varies. The production mix also varies from year to year depending on the order book of the customer. That is why we divide the projects on two levels. One is energy efficiency at source. So kilowatt per CFM पे अगर baseline कर दिया, more or less there is no need for any adjustment because we said कि आपका जो existing system था वो 1 CFM हवा निकालने के लिए इतनी बिजली तो ले ही रहा था, चाहे आपका production X हो, Y हो, Z हो. So in that case adjustment का नहीं होता, but we also realize that in a kilowatt per CFM model, let's say we are not accounting for something like leaks, तो वो kWh पे production पे जाता है. Adjustments, we are getting into it, but it becomes more complex. And abhi the industry needs jitna simple contract, jitna simple, like the babu needs to see इतने रुपए बच रहे हैं और इसका ही 80% मैं दे रहा हूँ. So we are उसमें of course we are also compromising on a little bit of savings, but we are saying at least let us build a pipeline of such projects first. उस पे भी we will go. And similarly in chillers, we are doing IKW per TR baseline, and the baseline is fluctuating based on the cooling degree days. So pretty much international standard.
A very standard kind of sort of proportion?
Sir, totally depends on the project returns, right?
We heard that 50-50 is the more prevalent.
No, so if it is fully financed by us, 50-50 would be next to impossible because project costs बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, debt servicing, a lot of other things. We may go down to 70-30 also depending कितनी savings है. If savings अच्छी खासी आ रही है, payback अच्छा है, so we will like to share more with the customer, not an issue.
Your question by Munich.
No, I'm not. All right. Okay. So I'm saying what I understand from question, please correct me, that first question, the first part of question was, energy consultant role, basically, how what exactly how it plays a critical role in the intersection of EI initiatives, etc. Second, pricing, what we consider, whether it's overall project or just the equipments, etc. And the third, what I understand is that has been asked is, how what we are saving exactly, right? The performance. Or the insurance, ESCO. So, okay, I'll just clarify more. Sorry, I made a very crisp PPT, understanding there was a time constraint. So first I'll say that this product, the EEI, is basically for ESCOs. They have to buy, they are the target audience. So all the energy saving companies are the one who will buy the project. Whether they will finally, further outsource to someone else who will implement it, but they have to be the face who will buy the product. And the pricing it's not about the whole project cost, everything. Let's say some building only wants to work on their lighting, the changes of equipment, the boilers, etc. So whatever would be the part of, the insurance coverage, pricing would be depending on that. Now, the role of an energy consultant in this insurance part. So, the technical expertise, as I said, is a precondition and risk assessment, because this product is not for just a year or two. This is for a long 5 years. Let's say any project starts, it takes at least 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So we have given an option. It could be 3 years, it could be 5 years. So you do not have any interruption in between. Let's say your energy savings were good in the starting of a year. Then in next year, if it's not good, no, we will not exit. We will definitely monitor. So the technical expertise and risk assessment is not just a precondition. They analyze the technical viability, the energy saving potential of your proposed projects. They evaluate the operational risks such as your equipment failure, your project design, implementation gaps. So we have people, the experts, who can also monitor it throughout the year and will let you know. Let's say if there are multiple breakdowns in a year, we will definitely cover that and pay. The insurance will pay for that to ESCOs. But we will also monitor the problem. We provide the insights that inform the let's say ESCO or the whoever is implementing the projects on changing the equipment's part, if there are failure that needs to be changed, if there is a design part, if there is a performance part that needs to be changed, to validate the energy performance guarantees provided by energy saving companies or contractors. So they have advisory, in policy design, whatever you want. We suggest the appropriate coverage limits. We suggest the triggers and exclusions based on your project complexities and associated risks. It could be very different, like Sir just simply said. It could be, the changing the systems. Sometimes it's lighting, the appetite. Basically, the project have, to ensure the accurate measurement and verification of energy savings, which is the critical component. And yes, what we are covering here is the not just guaranteed, the promised savings. We are covering the overall savings. For example, the project you are starting, any ESCO has been starting, and they say there would be a 20% of the energy savings. And you have been financed only for the, let's say, 10%. The 5% has been covered by the debt, the 5% by the ESCO. So it's not just what you have promised. It's the overall saving that should be coming from this overall project would be covered. So your technical risk, we will definitely, for the banks, whoever is investing, their loan is protected, their investment is protected. ESCO's guarantees are, the ESCO's guarantees are also protected. So I hope I was clear. If I missed anything, please let me know.
So you said ESCOs take the insurance, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What is the spread of the insurance concept so far? We have not heard anything. How many ESCOs have taken insurance so far?
In the Indian market, sir, if I correct you are
in India, yes.
Yeah, so like I said, we've been doing a research for 1.5 years. Now we have been, got this project, verified from the regulator, IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India. We have got the insurance companies who are ready to distribute this in the market. But we definitely need, the catalysts like AEEE to, put the words around that this is a kind of coverage which is there. So far, we haven't closed anything. Reason behind, there hasn't been any marketing that we are doing. But yes, internally, we've been talking to some of the ESCOs, the biggest one, through IIEC, through BEE, to, put this project, put this insurance product in the market. So it's anyway open. There is no, minimum or there is maximum kind of capacity or appetite that we provide to begin with. Because we are also new. For the Indian markets, there isn't any. But for the US, UK, France, and other market, it has been already, been 14 plus years that it's in circulation, and we have been successfully covered almost 40% of the market there.
40%. So, any other questions? Should we? Yes?
If there is a dispute between different stakeholders,
Is there any regulatory body or any controlling body who will independently decide the dispute? Or
Dr.
they have to
Satish
approach the
Kumar,
court?
what is the regulatory mechanism for ESCO business? Is there a regulator and who regulates it?
I don't know if I have all the information, but I mean, this is business to business transaction. So it's not that I think there is a regulatory body to regulate the electricity market or to regulate the natural gas market. It's a product that ESCOs are offering. There are certain risks. The two parties agree to, I think, a sharing of risks and payments that has to be done. Some of the risk mitigation mechanisms is being talked about. I think what Munich Hari has presented. But I don't think the ESCO business is a regulated business as such. I think
No, you see, it's just like any other contract.
Yeah.
It's a performance contract, like you have service contracts and other work contracts, so it's just like another contract. Of course, there's a huge market for this, which is still untapped. It's only, as it was said, 5% has been tapped so far. So there is no regulator, neither there's a requirement for a regulator. It is governed by the contract provisions, that's all. So if there are no questions, I would take this opportunity to thank everyone present here. Dr. Satish Kumar, he has been traveling for last 20 days and found time. He arrived in India only yesterday, and I thank him for being here with us this evening. And Laghu Udyog Bharti and all the ESCOs who have found time to come here and make presentations. As you must have realized that now energy saving is not an option. It has to be there, and LMA in a small way trying to create awareness about this particular model. But one of the things, as everyone mentioned, that there is a need for a facilitator, and I think BE and AEEE will have a big role to play in creating facilitators because the ESCO market is yet to develop, and one of the essential requirements is to help and handhold the industry and other consumers to sort of navigate through this complex process. The process is complex, no doubt, and probably that's the reason why this market is still untapped. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here. And Renu, anything else?
Yeah. Before we end with today's session, I would like to present a token of appreciations to our esteemed guest who has given today time in this particular discussion. So first, I'll invite Mr. A.K. Mathur sir and Keshav Mathur, Vice President, Laghu Udyog Bharti, please come and join us. To present a token of appreciation. You have been the pillar of this program today, sir. So thank you for being with us and giving a time. Shri Rajiv Kumar Singh, General Manager, SIDBI. Shri Jitendra Kumar, AGM, Bank of Baroda. Shri Abhishek Kumar Yadav, Senior Sector, Exports of BEEE. As SIDBI supported always in our program, so it's a token of thanks to SIDBI as we are presenting a memento to SIDBI for the vote of, for the thanks. Sir, I will request to please Rajiv sir to please collect the. I will request the Keshav sir to present a memento to Jitendra Singh, AGM, Bank of Baroda, for supporting this program. So now I would like to invite a technical session panelist. So to present a memento, I will invite Dr. Colonel Sameer Mishra, Executive Director of Lucknow Management, to present the memento to Mr. Vipin Rohila from AEEE. Mr. Amlan Panda. Mr. Mukesh Kumar. And I will also request Mr. Vishal Chandani, Project Head, MSME, UPCon. Thank you so much to all the technical panelists and all the distinguished guests who are present here and giving us such a time and insightful discussion on today's topic. Last but not least, I will request all the inaugural panelists and the technical session panelists to please join us for one group photograph. I will request all the and after the group photograph, I will request all the members or all the attendees, please join us for the dinner.